Hey, welcome guys to a freaking hot episode of Raw Talkin It. I'm Andrew, aka Titus. That's Joel, aka might be Joel. We're doing another E3 episode.
You're vertical, I'm horizontal.
Oh my god. But in the stream layout, we're vertical because I'm the one streaming. So
Yeah,
you're like this, and I'm fucking down here.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good. We're doing it. We're doing it raw, baby. Let's go. Yeah, we're another E3 episode. We're gonna discuss the ups and downs, the things that we really enjoyed, things we're looking forward to, the things that we thought could have been improved or just straight up fucking missing. If we want to really get into it. Reaction, algorithm, buzzwords, YouTube, blah 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 blah. I cussed in the first 30 seconds, so it doesn't matter anyway. This is it'll get flagged or whatever.
I mean, followers are followers.
Oh, we don't get paid anyway because we don't have a certain amount of subscribers. It's fine.
Indeed.
Fine. Seriously though, I do want to say the algorithm is fucking hilarious because I put like reaction in freaking all caps. We usually never get hits at all, and we had 9. That's not. That's more.
50% more than you told me last time.
Yeah,
I asked.
Exactly. It's like that's 900% more than we usually get. So I'm like, this works, and I hate it. I understand it now. I get it. I get why they do these dumb, clickbaity ass titles because it's in the algorithm.
It's why I don't care. I don't judge things like thumbnails and titles too harshly anymore because they work, and also it works on me. I have definitely noticed when it comes to thumbnails, I 100% will.
If it's a good thumbnail,
like there are thumbnails where I'm like, I definitely know I want to click on this one more, and I don't really know why.
Right.
It's something about
it's a marketing thing, right? It's just like.
Well, you see it. It's like bold text that's easy to read, highlighted background, added contrast, outlines around the important bits. It just helps your eyes figure out what's going on, and somehow that really helps.
Speaking of marketing,
really
please go ahead and follow the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel, and check us out on social media and stuff. Plug. Done. We're done. All right, there. We satisfied our sponsors right there with that little bit.
Our future sponsors.
I also realized I'm fucking stupid. I like, as I said, it's really hot outside. It's 100. It feels like 102 right now. It was 110 earlier today. It's fucking hot. So I'm in a black tank top, and it blends in with my chair. And so I'm like, just a fucking my head and a neck and some arms on a black background.
We'll get you a green screen someday.
Yeah, dude, man, I just need a green sheet in the work. You know what? Strategy, you actually bring up a really good point. I should make a command to bring up the YouTube channel in the Twitch chat so that they could do that. That's a good.
It's in the about, isn't it? I think I made you.
Yeah, I mean it's in my description and stuff. But a nightblock command is not a bad idea. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, if you didn't see the last podcast, it's up on the YouTube channel or it's Twitch VOD, either one. We talked about Summer Games Fest. Thunder, what's up, dude? So today we are going to talk about the E3 releases, or E3, basically just dumps of information that we got. So we have an article that's up. I can drop it in the chat if you guys want to follow along. So
we're going to skim it, but
yeah. So, big ones we'll probably cover Ubisoft, Xbox, and Bethesda we'll really talk about. Square, we'll talk about Nintendo. Those are the real big ones. There's a couple other small ones in there that we didn't like, Devolver Digital and stuff. We're not like big fans, so it's not like something we're gonna really dive into. So
we should at least briefly mention we did Summer Game Fest talk last week,
right?
And then there was an explosion behind my house, and so we didn't get to finish that.
Yes.
So we didn't actually get to talk about Elden Ring at the very least.
I finished it. And my discussion on Elden Ring was, it's cool. This has an audience. It's not me.
I mean, it's the Souls audience, though. I'll admit it looked look pretty.
It's cool. It looks
I'm
really
interested.
good. Yeah, it looks really good, but it's just not for me. It's not my game.
I've never played a proper Souls game, but I did enjoy.
I don't have the
combat in
patience.
Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a dodge-based combat. So
which is crazy to me because Horizon Zero Dawn I fucking love. It's just one of my favorite games.
Right.
But I don't like Dark Souls. I've played. Yeah. I sat down with Alex and Tyler and we got drunk one time and we fucking tried to play Dark Souls and I hated it. It was just like, this sucks. I don't like this. Oh yeah. Anyway,
the explosion was.
Yeah, join the Discord. You can see the pictures of the explosion. We are literally. This is not a fucking like.
Not a bit.
Clickbait
no,
bait. There was an actual
substation. There was a substation. There was an explosion. We are literally in the closest house to it. There was debris in my yard. There was ash falling from the sky. There were arc flashes and fires. Like, I'm cool. The house is fine. The dogs are fine. But, like, literally explosion, not a joke. It took out power to, like, 15,000 homes in the area. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah, I did. I saw I saw the article that you sent me. It's like...
It was, like, 15,000 homes. It took 3 other substations, like, sort of cascaded down themselves.
That's fucking nuts. Holy crap.
It was wild. I found out recently the client I work with at work, they had huge problems that day, unsurprisingly, because it was...
So yeah, we did
water treatment.
The only thing we really didn't get to discuss was Elden Ring.
Yeah, which looks cool. Miyazaki and George R. Miyazaki. It's I think it's a son or nephew or something.
It does look
There's
cool.
A couple Miyazakis.
I know quite a few people who are super excited about it. Again, not really for me. It's not really my thing. I don't like Souls, but I'm sure people who really. I mean, if I was going to play a Souls game. Again, because I played Bloodborne, it could maybe be this one because it looks like the concept looks fucking cool.
Yeah, I really love the world. Dark Souls, the impression I got is even though it's a big world, there wasn't, like, sure, it's dark and gloomy. So is Elden Ring. But Elden Ring specifically brought in a bunch of, like,
Same sponsor us.
Elden Ring brought in a bunch of bright, high contrast. It made the world look prettier by not just being one tone, which is the fault of many games because they're trying to be consistent. Like,
Bloodborne does this too.
Right. Fallout 4, well, Fallout 3 was the bad one. Fallout 3 is the thing where everything's brown.
Fallout 3, everything is brown. Everything is brown. Yeah. And
Fallout 4, they added some color by adding, like, paint and that sort of retro futurism, which is like their whole thing anyways.
Right.
They added a lot of that, which was cool.
God, but I love Fallout 3. The story is so good. The story of Fallout 3 is so good.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed 4. I started a second playthrough. I might finish it soon because I'm about to finish Mass Effect 2, and I need a little bit of a break before I dive into 3.
I liked having ease in between the Mass Effects, so I can I plan on doing like altering another game in between it. Maybe
Twilight Princess. Since they didn't announce a port, spoilers for later on. But no,
actually, I think I'm gonna play the demo of Monster Hunter Stories. It looks intriguing. I'm kind of interested.
I think I'm literally gonna play Twilight Princess. Like, I own it.
I guess I also still have to finish Age of Calamity. Like, I gotta.
You should do that
because the DLC is coming out, which we'll get into. Spoilers.
It's out tomorrow.
Yes.
Actually, that'll probably be the first thing I play. It is out tomorrow.
Yes it is.
I will probably play
in
that
November for the next stuff.
I'll finish Mass Effect, then I might actually work my way through all the DLC first.
So let's get into this. So Friday was Ubisoft. So that was let's pull this up. The 11th.
And I will personally say there's only a couple titles from the Ubisoft presentation that I really care about.
Each one of these articles also has like a click here for the full story, and it'll have like a breakdown of all the trailers and this and that. So the big one is the Mario Rabbids. You can see here
sequel,
the sequel,
which just like the original, no one asked for, but honestly, I'm here for it. Like the first one was so good. With no right to be.
People really.
Let's do a trailer reaction. Let's pull it up. That's why we're here, right?
I'll mute it, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
It's Mario Rabbids.
Yeah, it's this right here. Here's the official trailer. Trailer.
You can have some audio. Just keep it. You can just keep it quiet though.
We'll keep it a little. We'll keep it professional. You know?
I've seen enough trailer reaction videos on monetized channels. I know they're not going to demonetize you because it's fair use.
They're not even looking at us. They don't care. We're 2 assholes doing a podcast for 4 people. They don't give a shit.
Like this is one where the original was something that no one asked for.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like it was out of left field. It was fucking just
Well, kind of. Both the games actually leaked in advance. If you forgot about that.
That's right. Right. But I didn't really care about it. I didn't really know what it was, and then like what XCOM kind of took off a bit.
It's better and it's literally better XCOM. It's like actually better XCOM.
Like XCOM came to Switch and PS4, and people are like, these are really good. These are really fun. Tactical based type shooter like strategy games and such. It's like super fun. And then Mario and Rabbids drops a game and it's a better XCOM, and people are like,
I remember seeing
people are sleeping on this.
The Ubisoft trailer went live. And the reaction I think it was at either E3 or some other conference when the first one came out.
Yep.
I think it was at
E3. The guy crying because he got to work with Mario.
And like, can you imagine being trusted with Mario? Like, Mario.
Yeah.
And being trusted to do something. And to do something so weird, too.
It is very strange. Rayman, but it's not Rayman. It's Rayman World, and then it's Mario, and then it's a strategy-based shooter game. It's like...
Yeah. Mario plus Rabbids plus XCOM, like none of this makes any sense.
I want to know who came to the table with this. The Rosalina is really good. But who came to the table with this? Who's like, all right, listen up, Mario. Okay. The kids like Minions. We can't do Minions, but Rayman has these things called Rabbids.
Which I think the Rabbids did have their own game.
Yes, they did. They had their own game. Yeah. So people are like, all right, where are you going with this? And they're like, XCOM.
Tactics 3D platforming shooter.
Excuse me, what?
Like, we want to give Mario a gun, but really.
Yeah, exactly. So someone was like, there's a couple people in that just kind of like real dead quiet. And there's this one guy's like, genius, print it, go.
Yeah.
And they came with this, and they're great. They've gotten insanely good reviews. I've played the gameplay of the first one. It's like, it's really solid.
Yeah, and I love that it's a tactics game, but they ditched the grid. Because even XCOM, I think, still operates on a grid.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if the first one did, but they've shown gameplay of this one. No grid. You literally have a circle with a radius.
Yeah, XCOM.
No grid.
Sorry, the first Mario and Rabbids was definitely very grid based, more kind of like a tile RPG more than it was an XCOM game. But you had the cover,
right,
which is very XCOM like. But this game was really kind of like, you have cover, you can kind of freely move around in your movement radius circle, and there you go, have fun.
Yeah, they've shown gameplay straight up no grid. It's not even like there. It's not even hidden in the background. You literally just do not have a grid. It's pretty short, but you'll see.
We'll watch trailer 2 here, and you can see some gameplay. But let's also talk about the art design of this game. It's incredibly good. It's really good.
I am half expecting. I haven't recognized anything, and I haven't seen anything about it. I am wondering if there's going to be more crossover with Ubisoft property in this game.
Oh.
Because the first game...
Are we like pulling a Kingdom Hearts in a sense, where we're like diving into Ubisoft worlds?
I that's what I'm thinking, maybe, but I haven't recognized anything, and nobody online that I've seen has either.
Honestly, what I think is this is a good time to establish some kind of... so there's the grid, and you just get to run around.
Yeah, it's not even a grid. Like, it's like...
Yeah, there's the grid. It's just a circle.
Full free movement, yeah.
It's kind of...
the play area.
It's almost... like a Star Ocean type of game, a JRPG type of game where you have free movement and you can take a turn, but then you add like XCOM style play. Yeah, see, there's Cloud.
I believe you have a limited movement, but I can't remember exactly how it works because you can definitely backtrack.
So there's cover, there's different things you can do. So like, these games are super. there is an audience for this, and people really, really enjoyed them, or else they wouldn't have made another one. But what I think is Ubisoft is going to develop this world here, and then we'll probably see a game, another Rabbids game, kind of like in the universe.
Yeah. The first game, if I recall, was strictly in the Mushroom Kingdom, but with like sort of foreign objects, things from the Rabbids world.
Right, yeah, the Rabbids world was infecting it, so through that portal or whatever it was.
Right. So this one, I'm very curious about where they're, because they were going through space, so they're going to different planets, sure. And so I'm curious if they're gonna go through a portal and they're gonna be in Ubisoft. I'm very curious.
Yeah, is that? I mean, like I said, they could absolutely pull in a Kingdom Hearts type shit.
They really only showed like 2 worlds, and like I said, I didn't recognize either of them. But for all I know, Rayman's gonna be a playable character. I wouldn't put him past him at this point.
Rayman for Smash.
Still, he would be a perfect finale, but we'll get to that later. Okay, we got to move forward. We got to talk about Avatar.
Is Avatar? Oh, Avatar's next. I'm sorry, I loaded up Guardians of the Galaxy, but we do need to talk about Avatar.
We could just talk about Avatar. We don't have to watch that trailer.
I'll have it running in the background.
There it is.
I'll have it running in the background, basically. But yeah, one of the things at Ubisoft is they announced an Avatar game, and we're not talking Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're talking Avatar Pandora. We're talking James. Yeah. We're talking the movie, the big 2008,
which. That is pretty as shit.
This is great.
Just like the original movie is.
Very, very pretty. Very, very
I rewatched it, actually, not that long ago.
It's a 3-hour-long movie.
Well, it is, but like, honestly, while the plot doesn't resonate, the plot and the characters don't resonate very much, the world is insane. The visual details.
This is a very...
I saw it in 3D in the theaters.
Very pretty.
It's
game.
wild. Yeah.
It's like the atmosphere seems really good. The art seems really good. But I'm really curious on what we're doing. What's the point of the gameplay?
I do wonder if it's going to...
To me, this is like... You can tell this looks a little worse than the rest of the shot does. Like the model of the guy. The animals look great, but the model of the person looked bad. This looks great. But what
I think it's going to be a prequel. That's my bet.
What are we doing?
That's also a different tribe. That's the Plains tribe.
Yep.
So either it's a sequel, because we don't learn about them till like halfway through the movie, and they're not at the center of the plot of the movie. So my guess is either it's a prequel, or it's at the same time, but it's kind of like it's the other tribes, so it doesn't have to ever intersect with
is it like
the main movie.
Is it going to be an action game? Is it an action RPG? You know, they didn't really give us...
We know it's open world. That's the only thing we know, I think.
I would hope so. If not, it would be a little strange. But it's like, all they gave us was cinematic trailer. Hey, Michael! They gave us cinematic trailer after cinematic trailer after cinematic trailer, and it's like, this is cool. And you can see a little bit of the gameplay in there, right? Where it's focusing on his hand. Yeah. Like, that's kind of be what your, like, UI thing is going to be.
I mean, I'm guessing this is all an engine. We live in a world where I'm pretty sure this is in
I'm assuming most of this will be in it. But, like, they have a bow. It's like, so is it going to be a... That looks like it's an engines type thing.
Yeah, and like I said, engines actually look this good now, which is cool.
Which is really fucking cool. So, I'm interested. I probably won't play it, but I want to know where they're going with this.
They're also not shying away from the, like, killing people part of Avatar, which is very much...
It is very apparent.
...core to the game.
Yeah, it is something, so...
Yeah.
We'll see where this goes. 2022, so we still have a year. We'll probably see more of it next year at next E3.
And it also doesn't surprise me too much. Disney is trying to push Avatar with Avatar at Disneyland, I think, is where Avatar is.
Disney World. It's already at Disney World. It's already in Animal Kingdom.
Right.
It's already out.
Right. And so I think Avatar Pandora is going to come back very soon. Supposedly, much of the movies are filmed and they're being edited and stuff. So I think we're going to see it soon.
I do want to note this is just a PS5, Xbox Series X. And PC game.
Well, and Stadia, apparently, which is wild, because I thought Stadia was basically done.
No, it's just they're not doing games specifically for it. So
I don't think they're in-house dev.
And Luna, which is Amazon's streaming thing.
Right, which I barely know anything about.
It's Stadia, but on Amazon. So, while neat, what is it? What's my gameplay looking like? You just showed me a cinematic trailer that you rendered because you're still in alpha, basically, is what I just got from that right there.
They probably said something like open world action based RPG, but like, okay, that's every game. When you put that many words in it, it's all the games.
Buzzwords, algorithm.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
it's like, Ubisoft also, of course, announced another Just Dance game, which is, you know, it obviously has.
Your wife plays it.
Yes, she does, and this one
And
now
so,
has
like, I
Todrick
straight
Hall.
up don't care, but you kind of have to care a little bit.
Todrick is in the game, and he's making his song like specifically for Just
Todrick Hall?
Yeah, he's making a song specifically for Just Dance. My
My
wife
husband was
loves
literally-
Todrick Hall.
My husband was literally just sharing. He came out with a new album just last week.
Yes, he did.
And so I was sent a bunch of the songs that I needed to listen to.
Like one of his songs is like, oh.
Oh, I listened to the 3 or 4 of them. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of boppy,
fun.
right?
They're
pretty
it's
boppy.
a bop. They're good.
What the fuck? Nails, hair, hips, heels.
Oh, that's not the one I listened to.
Is the one that's coming to, Just Dance, and is gonna be like built again for. They're gonna like do a Just Dance specific thing for Just Dance. So
yeah.
Neat. It has an audience. I know it does because they keep fucking selling these things. Like yeah, they sell. That's it. That's all there really is to it. We're getting a new Rainbow Six game, which is
right, that's also in the list, and I also glossed over that because I so don't care.
Interesting. Hold on, give me. Let's bring it up. We'll run over it really quickly because I have some things to say about it, but I'm not sure how I feel about it, I guess.
In the meantime, I'll say that they brought Baja Blast back, so this is Baja
Right.
Blast with vodka in it. So, and there's new flavors of Baja. There's Baja others. There's other Bajas. We tried the punch tonight. It was very good.
Did you try the zero?
We haven't. I literally bought 4 12-packs. We only could put 2 of them in the fridge.
Nice.
So
okay,
I have
so
regular and punch.
What is kind of crazy is like, so Rainbow Six Siege has been a big Ubisoft title. It's like I mean, Rainbow Six games have always been big, but Rainbow Six Siege has had a lot of life because they just keep adding operators, which are like the people you can use, and each one has like an ability or whatever. And then they drop
heroes or whatevers.
Yeah. And then they drop this game, and this game looks like it's PvE rather than PvP.
I was gonna ask. My understanding is that Rainbow Six was like military versus terrorists, and I'm getting an alien mutant kind of vibe out of this.
Yes. My thing is like, is this an actual standalone game? Is this going to be an attachment to Siege? Because it looks like it's in the Siege engine, but it looks like it's going to be a standalone. And then I wonder if they're going to bake Siege into it. Now, like, what the fuck's going to happen here? Because like,
Also
this is
weird
definitely
that
PvE.
I forget that it's Tom Clancy too.
Yeah, it's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
He doesn't write about aliens. He writes about freaking military.
Yeah, this is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah,
because he's had Vegas 2, Siege, I mean, like all that stuff. So like,
that's it. It could be PvP if
I don't know.
Back 4 Blood. If Back 4 Blood has playable zombies, there's no reason this game.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, which is something that was been announced a while ago, but did kind of show up again. So this is neat. It has an audience, but at the same time, we saw a lot of like multiplayer PvE co-op shooter games at E3. We saw like at least 3. This is one of them. So that was kind of interesting that we're kind of going back to this PvE section of games. I'm for it. I like PvE shooters. PvE shooters are super fun. But it also has to be worth it to justify spending the price tag on it. So
yeah, but I mean, again, there's a
market for
Destiny.
it. Destiny was fun. Like I spent $60 on Destiny 1. The game was fun. I have a white PlayStation because of Destiny.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're inherently fun because you get a group of people and you shoot a bullet sponge. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like if you look
and hordes are fun too.
Yeah, horde games are super fun. So this is shoot the aliens. Have fun, what have you. It is what it is. That's Rainbow Six. That's what that is. There is a market for it. It's not me, and that's something I'll probably end up repeating a lot in this. Is like, there's a lot of games that come out that really I'm not the audience for. That's fine, whatever. So we won't necessarily. That really was Ubisoft's thing. There was one other game called Riders Republic.
Yeah, whatever.
It was for.
I mean, there were other games too.
It was forgettable. It was forgettable. Let's just go with that. They also talked about their. Riders Republic is the like multiplayer online thingy that they're doing with the dirt bikes and the fuck that shit.
Right. I remember seeing that trailer and being like, oh, that's cool.
Who cares? So let's talk about Xbox and Bethesda. And this is something I didn't think about until Joe said something, but Joe said something in the beginning of the podcast, which, follow and stuff, so you get here early for the pre-show where we goof around for a little bit. He straight up said, Xbox and Bethesda, if you're an Xbox fan, you got everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah.
You got games for the first time in a long time for Xbox. You got games.
They showed PvP and PvE shooters. They showed RPGs with deep stories. They showed indie games. They showed a BioWare which we're gonna watch first. Like, they showed crazy good stuff, and like the entire time I was watching it was like, I'm not gonna go buy an Xbox, but if I already had one, this was very good. And also, something like 75% of these titles are day one Games Pass releases too. Like, if you weren't aware of that, almost all of these are just free if you have Game Pass.
That's an Xbox One S or the Xbox Series S is very tempting because it's digital only. It's a lot cheaper. It's like $300 or whatever it is, right? And then I could just get Game Pass and I get most of this shit. I could download
almost everything, genuinely.
I could download them, play them for a little bit. When I'm not playing that, I'm playing my PlayStation or I'm playing my Switch. I could just pause Game Pass for a little while. Now, Game Pass price has gone up, but still, look at the library you get for Game Pass.
If you are
it's crazy.
If you are spending the majority of your time gaming on an Xbox, you have no reason not to have the Game Pass. Literally no reason.
You have no reason not to have the Game Pass, and then you literally have no reason to buy any other $60 game because it comes out anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's no fucking reason. The $30 a month. So I think it's 30. It's gonna move to 30. It was 10. Might have been 15. But so if
they're releasing every major title on it.
If you do
literally every major announcement is coming out on Game Pass.
So it's $360 a year. So if you do it every month, right? If you were to pay for
6 games a year,
full price games, it's six games a year. I for one buy a game. It feels like almost every month sometimes. It hasn't been recently because COVID really kind of slowed that down. But for a little while there, it was like every other month or so. So I was buying 6 games. So I'm spending the same price and I'm getting a fucking huge library.
You get all the games. You get every game. And
get
if
everything
you
I
don't
want.
like it, you didn't lose anything.
And with
you
Bethesda,
the files and
Bethesda rolled into that. It's an insane value. There's literally no reason to not. So we'll go through a couple of these, but
yeah, there's a lot. There's too much to watch all the trailers for.
We're not going to watch all the trailers. The one thing I want to talk about, Flight Simulator on the Series X and S. I feel like that's odd.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, as the way I understand it, it is the undisputed king.
Oh yeah, no.
There's literally nothing even close to it.
But I heard it had problems running on some PCs with that weren't super good. How the fuck are they gonna run on that? Like that's
I don't know. Optimized, I guess, but it's pretty. It's very good at its job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into that even the slightest bit, then that's a gimme. You just get that. You're gonna own that no matter what.
Hades got announced at Xbox Bethesda. And it will be on Xbox. It will also be on PlayStation, so it is coming out for both. It might make me buy the game again for a third time and have a physical copy.
Oh, I mean, you could. There's a physical Switch copy.
I know, but I bought the digital Switch copy, and then a week later they announced that there was a physical copy, and I was like,
yeah. But honestly, good for them. The amount of press they were getting it was only a matter of time before
basically it's huge.
Sony and Xbox were
huge.
knocking down their door, being like, "How much we will pay you to develop? Please, just make it for us."
That game's like, so fucking good. That game's so fucking good.
All right, start this trailer. Start it.
Well, a couple ones that I don't want to watch a trailer for that I also want to mention again. Psychonauts.
Yeah, but we can talk about those after this trailer.
Right, but
we can mix them in.
We'll get there. Oh, fine. We'll do it. So Guardians of the Galaxy got announced. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm actually looking here, and it doesn't look like it was announced at Xbox Bethesda.
I thought it was. I swear it was.
It was Square Enix, my guy. Yeah, Square Enix. So we have to save this.
Really? I thought. Okay.
We have to save this.
I guess
but we can talk about 2042 for a hot second.
Which I don't
Outer
give
Worlds
two shits about
and
Battlefield. I really don't. But this game is pretty as hell.
So let's
Battlefield
talk about
2042 looks insane.
This is one game that's out. People really like the Battlefield games.
Oh yeah.
People really like them because they're like huge war games where there's a lot of people. It's cool. It looks cool. These games are fun, but they're also kind of frustrating because there are a lot of people and there's tanks and shit like that and nuts and all that stuff.
What I appreciate is they're finally doing a new setting, which I think they've had before. They've had like a present day setting before.
This is more of like a little bit, we're not so far in the future it's ridiculous, but far enough that we can have some more advanced technology.
Yeah, and they're like the previous games were all either World War I, World War II.
This is fucking stupid though. This like that
But
what's it called? Grappling hook.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
But like I love the idea that they went with a futuristic setting and then they went with this like climate disaster. It's just a very cool backdrop.
Yeah.
Because this appears to be, I can't tell if it's supposed to be the St. Louis Arch with an added arch, if that's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, something like that. So
these games, it's St. Louis, but like St. Louis is a desert now. It's like, what? That's
these
weird.
games have their place. People will really enjoy this. We don't have to hear about there wasn't a woman in World War II controversy bullshit. This is just like, it's
we just get to enjoy cool shit.
This has an audience. I'm sure if I played it, I would love it, but I'm not going to spend the money on it.
But like the idea of like let's have an army, a military shooter game, but then also what about Giant Tornado as like
super cool.
Like that feels part of it. That's like part of it. It's not even like out of place.
Yeah, very
it's
cool.
Like key to the plot or whatever.
So super cool there.
And the rocket launch one, and
let's look at this here because this is another thing that was announced. Maybe not everybody really cares about, but we've known about this for a little while actually.
I saw that and I was like, wait, Age of Empires, is this new? Like, I don't...
No, we've known about Age of Empires.
I don't follow this franchise, so
this is fun that we're finally getting a new one of these. But really, why are you playing this on an Xbox? Play it on a computer. It's an RTS.
Well, in all fairness,
play it on a computer.
This is also... Everything for this was PC, too. So,
yeah, true. So, this is cool. I might pick this up on sale, honestly, because they're fun little RTS... games. They really are.
And also, like, there are plenty of people out there that have a nice Xbox but do not have a gaming PC. So,
true.
Like,
so it is. I'm sure they did a good job of making this controller friendly. Some people say like City Skylines is a game that's on Xbox and PlayStation, and the controller controls are actually pretty good. It's a SimCity RTS type thing. So I'm sure this is fine. This is cool. It has a big audience that likes these kinds of games.
I remember as a kid, I went to a.
I love playing Age of Empires too.
I went to a friend's house, basically a family friend's house, where like I didn't know the friend that well, but he had Age of Empires 2, and when our parents were like, "Oh, go play games together, guys," like you're friends, that sort of family friend dynamic where you're not actually that close, but then your parents are, and so you have to hang out together.
Yeah, you're forced friendships.
So I remember being, and this was one of the things we did that I really enjoyed, is we went and played Age of Empires.
So let's talk about one of the big games for Xbox, and that's the
Forza.
Forza series. I have to say though, I've played one of these games, and they're very fun for arcade racers, which are very few and far between right now.
Oh, no one's doing them.
These are fucking fun games. And holy shit, do they not look good? Do they not sound good? It's crazy. My complaint would be I want to see this on the PS5 with this fucking controller. A good arcade racer with this fucking controller could be the best game you've ever played in your life.
Did you hear about? It was one of the first PS5 PS Plus games. It was the like the it was like the Monster Truck Derby Battle Royale game.
Oh yeah, it wasn't
moving, Monster Truck.
It's moving free to play.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my husband got it because we had the PS5. And
yeah, it was in February.
Yeah, it was cool.
Was
it? I was like, it's never gonna reach a huge audience. It just doesn't.
No.
It didn't have the like clout that Fall Guys could get. So I'm sure the player base is still pretty small.
Right. Like these games are so pretty. God damn.
But it was like a car. The idea of like a destruction derby battle royale is really cool.
Yeah. These games are just really fun.
If you like this thing. This is kind of like Flight Simulator.
These games have a huge audience because, as I said, racing games are getting fewer and fewer, and especially like the arcadey ones where they're full, where I don't have to worry about realism and like all that shit, where I can just like turn my mind off and play a fucking racing game, like Underground 2 and Underground Days, like the old Need for Speed days. Like you can't get them anymore. They're very. I mean, you have the Crew and you have Forza, and that's it. Like that's it. Midnight Club doesn't exist anymore. Need for Speed isn't good anymore. It's like it's just that's it.
I also really respect that they.
Let's look at some.
They did a Mexico. They specifically did a Mexico theme.
Yeah.
Which is not a place that gets in games. It doesn't really get a lot of traction,
right.
And it is a really beautiful and diverse country, and. Every Mexico-themed anything is always Day of the Dead in the desert, which, like, sure, that's fine, and that's beautiful, and it's a cool cultural thing, and, like, Mario Odyssey even did that.
But this is a racing game. Let's go!
Well, but, like, Mexico is so much more. Like, Mexico has rainforests and volcanoes and mountains, and they're showing a lot of that off, which I think if you are...
God, this
if you
good.
Really identify, if you're Mexican and identify with Mexican heritage... I'm not, but I have to imagine this is like obviously I can't speak for those people, but I have to imagine that this is a better representation than you're normally getting in media of Mexico.
This would be a big seller for me if I was going to get an Xbox. Like if I was going to get an Xbox, this would be why. These games are that much fun.
Yeah. No, I mean again,
they're on PC. I played 4 on PC, but it's right on the edge where, I mean, my PC can play it pretty well, but I have to go through Xbox Store and do all that shit, and I don't like that interaction on PC much, where the console is integrated, it's all there, so I don't play it too often, but they're fun, and they're super good looking, and they're great.
The only racing game I ever loved was the Hot Wheels game for like Windows 2000 or whatever.
Oh, that game's so good.
The one with the sandcastle. I assume it's the same one.
I know what you're. It also was out for PS1 as well. Game's fucking fantastic. It was. Very
I played
good.
My computer games as a kid were that Hot Wheels racing game, which I played a lot of.
Did you play Zumbinis?
I had Math Blasters, like 8 to 12 or 12 to 16 or whatever.
God, I love number munchers.
It was like up through light algebra, I remember, was what the Math Blasters had. And it was legit fun. I had a Hercules game.
That was probably the one that was also on PS1.
I don't know. It had...
look at this.
Remember.
This is ridiculous. You're just doing... This is cool.
And this is apparently a custom you can like make.
Yeah, you can make custom maps and stuff. It's like GTA meets a racing game. It's so fucking cool.
You can make custom modes, not just maps. Like, they're earning points for knocking down pins, and that is a custom thing, which is very cool.
As I said, if you own an Xbox, play this game. You will not be disappointed, especially if you have Game Pass. They're great.
Yeah. This seems, again, if this is what you want, this is great. Stuart Little game. I did not have a Stuart Little game. Here's your fun fact for the day about Stuart Little that I learned on Reddit recently. Canonically, Stuart Little is a human who has a weird genetic condition that makes him very small, an anthropomorphic mouse. But he is a human. He is not a mouse that can talk. He is a human who is the size and looks like a rat.
That's the end of the podcast, guys. Thanks for joining us.
That's real.
I
That
have to
is
go give
real.
myself a lobotomy now because I can't get that image out of my head for the rest of my life. What the fuck?
I don't mean that
Seriously?
he's like, yeah, canonically, Stuart Little is a human who has a condition that makes him look like a mouse and be the size of a mouse.
I hate it.
That's that's why he's adopted by humans and not mice, because he is a human.
Let's roll into fucking bullshit Halo. God damn it. So Halo Infinite got a trailer.
Yes.
Multiplayer. Did they release a story trailer too?
I think it was a really long trailer.
Because this is just the multiplayer trailer, which is what people really want.
Question that I know very little lore.
We need to play the other two.
Oh, we do. We only played the first one, and we own them all.
And you kind of were like, "All right, I get it." I was like, "Yeah, that's Halo. You got it. It's what it is."
I love the grapple sniper. Like, that's totally
super cool.
Yeah.
Hammer.
Are these people Spartans? They're not, right?
They're in Spartan armor.
I know the lore is that there's only one Spartan. All the other ones are dead.
They're in Spartan armor. I can't speak more than that. I don't know that much.
Okay. I was wondering if there was some lore that I guess this would be Halo spoilers, but I was wondering if there was some lore that's like, oh, they brought the Spartan program back. There are new Spartans now. I was under the impression that it was still literally just Master Chief, and he was the only Spartan.
But it's the multiplayer, so there's no like canon. It's just
it is the big development that shocked me is that the multiplayer will be free to play. I don't know if you saw that.
Excuse me?
The campaign you pay for, the multiplayer is free to play.
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
It's still going to be PC, Xbox exclusive.
All right, so
but the multiplayer is free to play.
So are they going to go the Battle Pass route, the Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex route?
I feel like
it has to be, right?
It's got to be, right? There's no other thing.
And the thing is they'll make their fucking money. They'll make their money.
Also, I assume I didn't play a ton of Halo, but I assume that Capture the Flag and Punisher or whatever the skull thing was.
Gripball?
Somebody was holding a glowing skull.
Yeah, Gripball.
And I vaguely recall that as being like a mode that I'm guessing like was absent in the last game or something like that. And they're bringing it back. Again, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, people really like that game.
Multiplayer, free to play.
It
said it on the screen.
Fucking insane. It has to be it has to be
it's gotta be a battle pass. They didn't
It has to be a battle pass. It has to be a battle pass.
But they did specifically say that it was.
And then we also have a game trailer, right?
Yes, there's a story trailer. He puts not Cortana into his helmet, and I know that's significant because Cortana is maybe dead, but then like she's obviously not.
Yeah, so that's because isn't the quest to find Cortana right now?
I thought that was the last game, but apparently it's still on. And I know enough lore to know certain things, but I don't actually know why Cortana matters at all.
So
I don't know why she's special.
The interesting decision making. Sam Adams sponsor. What they're doing here is they're treating this like a Far Cry game. Like you can open and you can do little, like
this
little
shot right here,
waypoints and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
This shot is incredible.
Oh yeah.
I assume that at best it's QuickTime events, or more likely strictly cinematic.
Could be hold forward,
but
so it feels like you're
cool
doing stuff, right?
Yeah, you will. Mass Effect 3, when we eventually get there, has some like actual. You don't fly around in space like anything, but there's a couple sections where you walk around on a spaceship, but which is like opened up to space. Or I guess you do at the beginning of Mass Effect 2, but this is very cool.
Yeah, this whole sequence is very neat, and yeah, people want Master Chief because he was gone in the last game and what have you. That's cool. I get it.
People think he's a badass, even though he's very bland and boring. But you know what? They sold him in this trailer. He's a badass. Like, cool.
He is a badass. It's true.
Yeah.
People who are excited for the story, I'm happy for you, but they made it where it's like this Far Cry. There's little outposts. You know, do this and that. And it's like You're taking
that
away...
right there looked like a transition to gameplay.
Yeah, it did.
That's where it like switched.
Yeah. It's hard to get a game. It's hard to get a shooter game with a good story that only relies on just the shooting without any other aspects. So I understand what they're doing here. It just is what it is, I guess. It's just the
easy thing to include is platforming. It always is.
Yeah, it's just the nature.
Even MMOs have platforming.
It's the nature of the world that we live in. It's like people want something that's more engaging rather than a level that they go through. But I mean, if we look back at, and we've talked about this before, more of the golden age of shooter games where you have like Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Resistance Fall of Man, which was a PS3 game. You have all of these shooter games that had great stories. Nowadays, all we have is Titanfall 2, shooter game with an amazing story. That's about it. So, Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
people are excited. I'm not excited, but people are excited. I'm happy for you.
There's some third-person shooters. Obviously, Mass Effect Andromeda came out, and it did have some good aspects.
Right.
People shit on Mass Effect Andromeda, but it was mostly okay.
But
it was bad compared to the rest of
But it is an RPG before it is a shooter, in my opinion.
This is true. Though, specifically, the Mass Effect Andromeda gunplay was actually far and away better than even all the other Mass Effect games.
Played a little bit of Andromeda, because
the gunplay is actually very good.
Dusty bought it for like $8 and he's like, play this. It seems cool. I'm like, well, I've heard people hated the story, but didn't mind the gameplay.
It's just underwhelming.
Right,
it doesn't have a lot of Mass Effect is all about these decisions and like consequences, and Andromeda had very little of that.
But
which is the problem.
The gameplay was cool.
Oh yeah.
So a couple other things that we should touch on.
Oh, and the facial animations. They were also very bad.
They had to fix them. They had to patch them in.
They
were so bad. That was 2017, wasn't it? Andromeda was 2017?
I don't remember. It might have been a year before that.
Yeah, it could have been.
Okay, yes, Outer Worlds 2.
Before we talk, it was 2017, March. Before we talk about this, I do want to talk about another game that I am personally excited about, but I know not everybody will be excited about. It'll be fucking Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Oh, this looks super cool. I didn't know what I was looking at because I'm not actually familiar with Diablo. So
I love Diablo games.
I could tell it was a remake, but I was like, is this one game, multiple games?
And it comes out in September.
I thought maybe that it was like three of the games.
This looks fucking
in
fun.
One or something like that. I just don't know.
This looks so good. I'm very excited for this.
You'll be proud of me. I recognized it from the O.
Oh, baby, let's go.
The O with the cross in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I knew it was Diablo, even though I have technically played like 1 hour of Diablo 3 with friends.
I love Diablo. Diablo 3. I still hop back in Diablo occasionally.
I mean, it seems really cool. Like, it seems fun.
It's some of the best action RPG out there. They're just super fun.
It seems like it has all the appeal of an MMO without actually having to be an MMO. That's what it's as somebody who doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, actually, that's a good way to think about it. But this has 8-player co-op, which is crazy because as I remember, Diablo 2 was only 4-player. Now it's 8. That's cool. Yeah. Hopefully they add. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, as somebody who's never played it, to me, the style of this screams MMO, except it's not. It's not an MMO. It's
just an action RPG.
It can do justice because I feel like, again, haven't played an MMO basically ever. It seems like MMOs struggle to tell stories because of the nature of the format of the game. It's hard to tell a story in that context.
Final Fantasy 14 would like to have a word with you.
I know that there are good stories, true, and Final Fantasy 14 does seem to be.
But they are few and far between. You are correct.
Well, but it's hard because there's no sort of continuity because you then run off to go. It's not even like side questing. You just like go to fucking wherever and do.
Yeah,
whatever.
Someone in the town over there had me kill like 10 people.
Right, whereas this can be way more cohesive in how it delivers a narrative to you because the developers have full control the entire time about delivering that narrative.
Yeah,
whereas an MMO doesn't really get to do that if you're in a shared world.
So I'm actually really excited because when I played Diablo 2 and then Diablo, I had played Diablo 1 on PlayStation 1. I didn't really understand it, but I'm like, it's cool. And I was like, fairly young. It was bloody and the devil, and it was taboo. It was like, oh, I get to play a cool little game. So I'm excited for Diablo 2. I think that game will be really fun. Check if you like action RPGs, like
I did play Gauntlets or whatever.
Okay, so yeah.
Which seems like
Very
I
similar.
assume Diablo was
Very
like
similar.
a spiritual successor to that. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, but more improved upon.
Yeah,
because he has skills and all that. Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, Gauntlets was literally an arcade game.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm excited.
I'm also all for. It may sound shockingly, but I'm all for using the Christian mythos in video games. Like, not a religious person, you're not a religious person, but like, there's some like legitimately, if you sort of take a step back, the mythology is cool if you view it from that specific angle.
And that's kind of how that's kind of what they do. They have the archangels and stuff in Diablo, and like Diablo constantly gets resurrected, and there's like the demons that protect the night, the gates and stuff. It's like it's crazy.
Beelzebub, Pastor, I assume, make appearances.
Yeah, it's cool.
We just finished watching Good Omens, which I read the book of in school. You probably have seen an ad or two for this. It was an Amazon Prime thing.
Maybe.
Good Omens is, the way I describe it is, it's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, except the backdrop is the Christian apocalypse.
God, that sounds great.
And it is an angel and a demon have become friends, and the demon is tasked with placing the Antichrist, who is the decider of who will win the great war between heaven and hell. But the angel and the demon are friends, and they like Earth, and they don't want the apocalypse to happen. They want it to, like,
so they just avoid it
happen.
The whole time.
So they're like basically being, but there's a fuck up, and they like they placed the wrong kid. It's a whole thing, but like the idea, there's an entire episode that is their friendship, because one of them is Aziraphale, who is like the guardian of the Garden of Eve, and then one of them his name is Crowley, and he's literally the snake from Eden, and they are friends. And there's an episode that literally is tracking their friendship through all of recorded history, starting 6,000 years ago, of course.
That's great.
And it's really good. They even dared, it was in the book, but they dared to do it in the show too. They actually straight up show a scene in this history flashback one where they are both standing at the crucifixion of Jesus, and Crowley shows up and he's talking to like, what did this guy do that got everybody so mad? And he's like, and Aziraphale's like, he told people to be kind to one another. And the demon's like, yeah, that'd do it.
That's pretty great, actually.
It is really. It was written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. It was a combined book.
Okay.
With both of them as authors. Anyway, sorry. You should watch it. It's very good, and also there's some very not so subtle gay undertones to their relationship. It's really good.
We got Among Us announced for consoles. Cool.
For more consoles. It was already on Switch.
It's coming out for Xbox and PlayStation.
Yep. Cool. Great.
Cool.
They did announce
availability
also,
is good.
They announced a new mode.
And mods included now too.
They apparently hired one. They hired one of those mod people to put it into the game officially, which very cool.
Very good.
There's a lot of people out there making
content. Way to listen to the community.
Yes. And I've seen, my husband liked watching a lot of those Among Us like group videos and stuff. There's some really funny stuff, and there were some very creative mods and roles that were put in that made the game a lot more interesting.
So on the Bethesda side, we got like Stalker 2, don't care. Redfall, don't care.
I mean, it looks cool if you like a horror shooter.
Yeah, horror shooter game. That's cool, but not for me again. And absolutely, like, Resident Evil has shown that there's a market for that. So it's, if you like Resident Evil, Stalker 2. I mean, that's
interesting choice to have the entire cast just speak Russian and not even do English with a Russian accent. They're just like, no, they're in Russia. They're going to speak.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really kind of like, but it makes it hard for people to. And if there's an option to do full Russian or to do it that way, that's more like it makes it more digestible for people.
I would agree that would be cool. I doubt they'll do that.
I doubt it too. So.
Maybe that's not the whole story. Maybe it's just that cast of people, and there's like, who knows? But it was an interesting choice. It's
still not till next year. We're looking at 2022 for that one. Redfall is also 22, and then this game here that we're going to discuss from Bethesda is also 2022. And I have not seen this trailer yet. So this is Starfield,
Is this Starfield?
that was teased several years ago. And everyone was like,
let's
go.
Well, let's watch the trailer.
This is created in an engine, which is kind of neat.
Yes. Turn up the volume on this one. Yeah, listen to it. Or at least so that you can hear it.
So yeah, Bethesda's creating this. And I remember when it was teased, it seemed really cool. 25 years in the making of a brand new universe. It'll have 25 years worth of bugs in it, too. That's absolutely rendered in-game. You see the fucking giant health pack.
It is.
This looks like a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
Looks like Prey a little bit.
To me, it looked like Fallout 4.
They say
looks more like Prey to me. But yeah, I can see the Fallout 4.
The field of stars is so vast.
All right, gun, 20 feet. Okay.
You're part of Constellation now.
I love the UI on that gun.
Yeah, I do too. Looks great.
What you found.
Yummy.
It's the key to unlocking everything.
We reach your constellation.
This is all we've been working towards.
Jemison route looks good.
Cool.
We've come to the beginning of humanity's.
You actually have several panels and such rather than like these fucking weird ass screens and things like that. Little mech guy walking around.
That's why we're here.
Whoops.
Main engines go. Ignition.
I hit the wrong button.
Killed the Discord.
Yeah, I literally hit the wrong button. I was trying to switch over to something and I fucked it. Fine, we're still here. We're still here. I literally said out loud, oops.
But no, that's the whole trailer.
No gameplay. Still. For something that's 25 years in the fucking making, we have no goddamn gameplay.
But they did a straight up release date, not even a year. They did a date.
I guarantee that'll get delayed.
I don't know. We'll
So
see.
it's a year and 5 months from now. It's almost a year and a half away.
Veterans Day, as it happens.
Yeah, November 11th, 2022.
Which is a Thursday, which is weird.
Cautiously optimistic, but it's an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's like
I won't be playing
I was really excited for it, but I'm probably just not going to play it straight up unless I have a really good PC and like somebody gets it for me or something. I'm probably not going to play it.
This is probably a good point to have this discussion. It always in the PS4 era, the PS4 Xbox One era, it turned out to be that PlayStation beat out Xbox because of its exclusives. The exclusives of the PlayStation blew out Xbox to no end. I mean, I don't even really know if I can name an Xbox exclusive besides Gears of War and Halo.
There's that one with the robot rejeweled.
Oh, Forza, right? Yeah, there's Forza as well.
Yeah.
So, and then PlayStation got
everything.
Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, has Uncharted. It had did Resident Evil 7 come out on Xbox? I think it did. Yeah, it did. It has The Last of Us. So many PlayStation, like all the time. Ratchet and Clank. All the time you saw like PlayStation exclusive, all over in the PS4 era.
And Xbox responded by just buying a bunch of studios.
Yeah, and so we come to the 2019-2020 era where Xbox just buys up a bunch of studios and then buys Bethesda. And now we have a serious conversation of, do I get an Xbox for Bethesda exclusives? Or do I get a PlayStation for... Oh, sorry, God of War was another one for PlayStation. Sorry. Or do I get a PlayStation for PlayStation's exclusives? Now there's this real, like, this actual fight there.
I am very curious what it's going to be because I don't know if Bethesda can get away with releasing Elder Scrolls as an exclusive.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima was also...
My bet is that Elder Scrolls 6 will be a timed exclusive, and I still think they're going to get some backlash from that, probably. But at the same time,
or they'll do what PlayStation used to do and do PlayStation specific or Xbox specific content exclusivity.
Well, the other bet though is that, admittedly, Elder Scrolls is probably one of the most PC dominant fan bases out there.
Mm-hmm.
So they may not get as much pushback as another company with their main
but
franchise. But if they did Xbox PC only on Elder Scrolls 6, there would be some very upset people, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I get that Xbox wants to obviously have, which is why a timed exclusive I would forgive.
Timed exclusive would be okay.
Hell, it's a Bethesda game. It's probably not going to be great on a release anyways. It's going to have some quirks.
True. I think a time exclusive would be fine. Or time exclusive content like Xbox gets the DLC first for 3 months or whatever, and PlayStation has to wait. Like, they could do stuff like that, and that makes it so you don't alienate the player bases. You still make money because you sell on both consoles. But as I said, you have this talk about now who has exclusives, and we really need to address what's up. We really need to address the elephant in the room, that is no Sony at E3 this year.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
Like I said,
nothing from them.
This should have been the year where they swamped content on their new console. Maybe they didn't want to do that though until they figure out their stock issues.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, I mean, they've basically said that they're going to have stock issues until 2022. It's going to go well into 2021. And here's the other thing that's pissing me off is we're holding back games by still developing on the PS4. Not many games are still PS5. So let's look at Ratchet & Clank, for instance. Ratchet & Clank A Rift Apart just came out last weekend. Really good scores. People who have played it says it's incredible. It's only PS5 for now. And the thing is if they, because of the limited availability of the PS5s, not releasing on a PS4 is almost market suicide.
It's a bad idea outright.
Like, look at the number of PS4s in the world right now. It's a huge number of consoles, and if you're not selling the games on those consoles, you're losing money for a system that not very many people have access to because of the stock issues.
It's the opposite problem that Nintendo has with the Wii U, which is why they're just porting all their Wii U content to the Switch, even though they maybe could spend those dev hours working on new things.
Why? When
so few people? Why? Right? There's so much content that is objectively
good.
We'll
get into that too.
The Wii U had plenty of games.
Right.
It just was a miss on the console.
No one played it because
and so
they're like,
the
thing. Yeah.
So it is far cheaper and far easier for them to port that content. So, and Sony's having the opposite problem. Their last gen was so successful. They can't just leave it behind. They can't.
Nope.
It would be bad for them to do that.
They can't. And that hurts me because we're looking at let's look at Forbidden West.
Mm-hmm.
What are we not going to get because it had to be also devved with the PS4 in mind, where the PS5 is a monster of a console. Like, I have played this thing. It makes load times a joke. It's absurd.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy fucking cool. And being able to really take advantage of that in the game is super awesome. I want to see more games developed for it, but you have 3 games developed for it, and that's it. You have Godfall, Ratchet & Clank, Returnal, Demon's Souls. 4 games. I can name all of them off the top of my fucking head. It's that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
Those are the only exclusives.
We have Forbidden West announced PS4, and we have God of War, the new God of War, announced for being also PS4 devved rather than also just straight PS5 dev. But from Sony's point of view, you have 72 million PS4s in the fucking world. Selling their 2 biggest games on just PS5 is suicide.
Yeah.
But it hurts. To me, it feels like it drags down game development. Because they have to keep this previous gen in mind. Because at this point, PS4 is previous gen, current gen is now PS5. But not to the market.
as far as Sony and Xbox are concerned, yeah, PS5 and Series XS are current gen. Switch, Nintendo has done a really good job of decoupling themselves from current gen, last gen by just doing something different. And they've done this. This has been true, honestly, ever since the Wii. The Wii, like, they were N64 was competing with Xbox and PS1.
So the interesting thing about that, is like, so if we look at the GameCube and the Wii, the only like couple games that came out that were the same were like Twilight Princess came out on GameCube and Wii. And
I'm just saying that Wii was when they decoupled themselves.
That's the only one I can fucking think of, honestly.
From the
competing with the generations.
Right, they're now on their Nintendo was on their own schedule, and they get to basically do whatever they want.
And you know what? It fucking works. It works every time.
Right. Whereas Xbox and Sony are constantly competing with each other because they're moving at the same pace.
Right.
And it wasn't exactly right. Series X and S came out a year before PS5, but like it's still basically they're working with the same tech basically all the time.
I mean, it's like PS4 Pro. I mean, it's the same shit.
Whereas Nintendo is making a point to explicitly not do that by being off cycle from everyone else. That said, they may get back on cycle eventually because they're going to ride the Switch for a long ass time.
I mean,
there's no way they don't.
Let's be fucking real. The Switch, and I've kind of done. I'll admit, I did a 180 on this. I was not really that impressed with the Switch for a little while.
No, you were not.
I was really not impressed with the Switch for a hot minute. I was like, you know what? It's neat, but I don't see me playing with it very much. It's kind of gimmicky and such. Now that I've played a lot more, now that there's two in the house, like, it's a good system.
Oh yeah.
It may not have these insanely graphical games. That's why I have a PS5. But being able to pick
Nintendo
up,
doesn't try. They know that.
Yeah, exactly. They develop for what they have, and they're very good at it. They're very good at it.
Nintendo is the king of the user experience.
Yeah.
Their menus and UIs. There is nary a first-party Nintendo game that doesn't feel good to play. I'm never fighting the game itself in a Nintendo game the way I sometimes do, even with games I love, like Mass Effect, or there's a lot of JRPGs that aren't made by them, where you do kind of have to fight the game itself sometimes. Nintendo is just so good at making that a non-issue, which is why they will never go away until they start failing at that.
And as I said, they're not really... The Switch is not directly competing with Xbox and PlayStation. No. There's no way. It's a handheld system that is conveniently also a console ported system. It's both. And it's great. And it does what it does really, really fucking well.
And they get to pick up the best of both worlds. Like they're never going to get the super high intensity. They're starting to delve into it a little bit.
They apparently can still run Doom, which is bizarre to me, but whatever.
Yeah, and they got Control and Hitman. They're starting to get into that world with the cloud-based gaming. But I don't think that's going to take off. I just don't see cloud-based gaming as being terribly successful. Maybe I'm wrong,
but give it 5 years. I bet you it will be.
That's very true. I will probably be dead wrong in 5 years and everything will be cloud-based, but who knows?
Right now, the infrastructure of the United States, we're going to get political here for a second, but the infrastructure of the United States isn't where it needs to be for this to happen. You're talking about a massive overhaul of all of the infrastructure in the system, and I mean, we're looking at a time we're really going to dive into some politics here because I work in this industry in a sense. We're looking at a time in the United States where every bridge in the United States is hitting their design life. A bridge is designed for 50 years. It is meant to be out there for 50 years before it needs a major rehabilitation or it needs replaced. 85% of the structures in the United States have gone past the 50-year design life.
Thanks, Eisenhower. I know my history. I know who built the interstates.
Exactly. So we're looking at post 1945, and a lot of bridges were being built, and a lot of things were being built.
Our Canadian viewers like, what's an Eisenhower?
So what's an Eisenhower? I work in an Eisenhower building.
He's from Kansas.
So Wasn't Eisenhower? Oh my god. So we're looking at a world where, and especially we're looking at post-COVID world where internet needs to be a utility, and we don't have the infrastructure for that. But we're looking at failing water infrastructure. We're looking at a failing bridge, road, highway infrastructure, and then we're looking at an infrastructure of network that needs to be increased, and we can't do all of those because we're not investing in them. So we're going to jump off the politics for a little bit, but I don't think America will see cloud gaming. I think the rest of the world will see cloud gaming way before America does.
I don't know about that. We'll see. So what trailer do you have queued up?
I would be happy to be wrong, but we'll see. But we'll keep diving back into it. We'll dive into Outer Worlds 2.
Did you see this trailer?
I didn't see this trailer.
Okay.
I played the first one.
Listen to it.
I played the first one. I never finished it because it's kind of Fallout-y, so I don't really ever feel like I need to finish those games because they're just kind of like open, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I do say they're fun. It's a super fun game. You should play them. If you like Fallout, play it.
This will make our game seem big and important. Now, something must break the serenity. Will this creature be in the game? No. Say goodbye to it forever. Suddenly, and for no reason, people running. These pointless slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers. That wah sound can mean only one thing.
This is good as fuck.
Over an epic shot of a world. And there should be lens flares. Now we see our hero. But only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design. Or finished the story. Or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
Very good. Very, 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 very good. Yes. Play Outer Worlds. This one is apparently Xbox exclusive, but Outer Worlds, the first one, is available to Xbox and PlayStation. They're fun. It's a fun game.
I actually don't know if that one's an exclusive. I don't remember. It might be. It's entirely possible. But they had a few that were. They had a couple announcements that were not. I do want. You mentioned this game earlier, but I do actually want to revisit the trailer.
Unlike the previous game, Outer Worlds 2 will be exclusive to PC and Xbox Series X.
I would like to watch the trailer for Redfall. I don't know if you saw the trailer.
I didn't see the trailer. I did mention the game, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, so this is
the vampire game, right?
Yes, and the reason you say the vampire game, no one, in my opinion, no one has done vampires right in a
There was
hot
3
minute.
vampire games at E3 this year. But I did not see
think
this
they
one.
figured out how to do vampires.
You think Bethesda? You think Bethesda did
actually killed it?
Okay, sure. I mean, everyone
Just
wants a
watch.
sexy vampire game, right? This is like a 4-minute trailer. Holy shit, that's crazy. So this is a bounty hunter fucking game. What the fuck is this?
So, that was fun, right?
Earlier.
That's your cue, mate.
That bitch be invisible.
You know what this reminds me of? My time in the Himalayas.
Days later, Dad.
Ha! That's a Avengers reference.
You think they can't kill you anytime they want?
Hey, asshole!
What the hell?
How do we always get into this shit?
So this is another squad-based shooter.
field in Redfall, Massachusetts. Behind me, we are witnessing clear signs of cult activity as the locals engage.
Hey!
Bollocks! That's funny.
Really hope the video was worth it.
Yeah, this looks like a Left 4 Dead type game. I agree with that. I haven't even seen gameplay, and this looks like a Left 4 Dead type game.
Get me on the roof now.
Thank you, Layla.
I see people with abilities.
It seems more narrative to me.
I see people with abilities, and I see hordes of enemies. I see a PvE shooter. Yeah, I see a PvE shooter. Kind of like Deep Rock Galactic, but vampires.
I love that they didn't stray away from wooden stakes. And a UV gun.
Damn. This is a long fucking trailer to just be cinematic.
Jacob, there's something.
Thump thump goes the rabbit's heart. That's creepy.
Oh shit. Dev's gonna love this one.
Thump thump goes the rabbit's heart.
You better have a plan, Jacob.
Yep. Don't miss.
Don't touch me.
Look! A new one!
Vivo, penante. Go, go.
Yeah, I don't know what this is because they're not showing me gameplay. This is another. This is another 2022 release.
I think there's vampire in this.
Really? What does it taste like? Be specific.
Like blood and death. And strawberry.
Strawberry.
Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
Sure thing, Edgar Allan Bro.
That's a good one.
Do you think things will ever go back to normal?
Would you want to go back to normal?
Not if I still have to pay my student loans.
While cool, again, summer 2022, and again, it does. I don't know what I'm playing with.
It could be it could absolutely be Left 4 Dead, but it, like I said, it just seems a little more narratively driven. Trailers tend to be. So they're either doing a really good job of that, or there's going to be something more to it. It could be like a Borderland, where it's a story and you pick your character.
Really cool. I am gonna note one more game, or Kitty would kill me if we don't note it. But let's talk about Slime Rancher 2.
I was going to say we should do this next.
This game, the first one is so good at being.
I don't know crap about these, but like it does seem
they're
fun.
just fun little indie game. You grab slimes and you put them in a pen, and they breed, and you get materials from them when you feed them.
Did you watch this either?
I haven't watched the second one. I know that it's coming out, but I haven't watched the second trailer yet. They're super fun. And the slime is super cute. I love him. Now there's a bunny slime apparently, and a butterfly slime, and a bunch of tadpole slimes. It looks like. This looks great. Bat slime. So yeah, you put them in their little pens. And you feed them and such. Ooh, bad slimies.
Just seems pretty and fun.
Yeah, they're very fun. 2022, again, a lot of games come out in 2022.
Play it day one with Xbox Game Pass.
All right, Kitty. Have a wonderful day at work. It was great that you stopped around for a hot second. Slime Rancher, great. I would recommend. It's a fairly cheap game. They're pretty fun. A couple other games that are in the Xbox stuff. None of them I really cared about. A Plague Tale. This fucking Lydian Chronicle game. There's 3 of them coming out in 2022, and then one in 2023. Who cares? Let's talk about Square Enix.
Real fast, I see in the article it has a picture of the 12 minutes game.
That's the one where like he has to try
there
and
it
save
is.
his wife, right?
It's a time loop, yeah.
Yeah, he has to try and save his wife in the 12 minutes. This was announced. That was announced a long time ago, though.
Did you see who's the voice cast?
No.
Let me look it up because the trailer briefly. The trailer shows it, but if you don't want to watch the whole thing, let's.
No, because that game was announced a long time ago.
It's got.
It will be released. It will be released in 2 months though, which is good.
Oh my god, I need to just look.
I mean, we're already at 8:15. We need to cover Nintendo.
I know. What's the? There's like 4 big names. So 8 stars or 3. Daisy Ridley.
Oh wow, okay.
James McAvoy. And Willem Dafoe.
Whoa!
Those are the 3 credited cast members of this game.
Super cool.
Which is wild. Those are very big names.
Those are very big names.
Okay, so
let's cover Square Enix.
Okay.
Here's the game that Square Enix announced that is really only the fucking thing that you need to worry about. We'll talk about the other one in a second, but this is cool.
You haven't watched this yet, though, right?
Not this whole trailer.
Okay, this one, like I said, they actually spent a solid like 10 to 15 minutes of their presentation just on Guardian.
This does look cool.
Do you know what a birthright is, Peter?
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, done by Square.
Something that's a part of you. Like your name.
Gardeners of the Galaxy?
What? No, Rocket.
So I let Groot fill out the paperwork.
Good music.
So we got fined.
We appear to be 6,963 units short.
I know, we clearly...
Oh yeah, I watched the DMCA3 version of this, and so none of the music was...
Oh, really?
If you see anything with
This is
Square
great.
had a DMCA3 version.
We got this.
Good looking gameplay. It looks like it's built on the Avengers engine.
You want monster? I'll show you monster! No! We disrobe!
Keep your pants on.
Although, it could be used as a distraction.
Yeah, it's definitely on the Square Enix Avengers
We're all professionals here, right?
engine.
Maybe we
But
can
I want to
work
see
something
the other stuff. Yeah, that's not Red Hulk.
One job, Quill.
I did exactly what? Gamora, no killing teammates.
That's who.
It's literally in your contract.
I made no such commitments.
In less than 3 cycles, all would be lost. The galaxy cannot be saved, Peter Quill.
We can do this together.
Fucking great, Quill!
Sunlord, right?
Mantis is great.
They do have an extended gameplay trailer that you should be able to find if you want.
It comes out this year. Looks great. Again, PS4 and PS5. And Switch apparently.
And Xbox, I think. I
Yeah,
think
it's on everything. But one thing that we do want to touch in here is the Mass Effect elements that are coming. Well, this is like an 11-minute trailer that they showed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to skip around through this one.
So
They
we go.
show a whole extended story sequence, including
So here's a conversation. They're having a conversation, and you have a QTE to step into the conversation. Number 1, super cool. And then
Sacrifice your head.
you can see who you can see the dialogue, and you get to have this interaction. So it's very RPG like with these interactions here. This game looks cool.
I think we should hear out Groot for once.
the only problem with your plan is that Lady Hellbender only buys monsters, and you are not a monster.
Groot, are you really offering to...
No, he is not offering that, okay?
It could work.
So, Groot, I guess we could bust him out after.
Absurd. Lady Hellbender seeks the monster within. The small, ugly one is clearly the correct choice.
Small, ugly one. This looks great. Like, the worlds
They'll
seem
show
very
some
cool.
combat very quickly.
The worlds that she'll get to do seem cool because now we get to explore space and stuff. So you have that RPG element. The dialogue stuff is really fascinating. I want to know like what the skill point system or whatever they're going to do with level up system is going to look like.
The other thing I really appreciate is that with a truly with this cast of very good characters, you would expect to be able to play all of them. But they explicitly
said you're Star-Lord.
You are Star-Lord. You do not get to play anyone else. You call on them for abilities.
Gelatinous cube.
That's it.
That's very funny.
Yeah. But you don't. They'll show the fight here in a sec.
Yep,
with skill callouts.
So we'll see a little bit of So you have your 4 skills down over there. So this is very, very much Mass Effect like. You can call on your team to do chains. So this is very action RPG. Yeah, very action RPG. They're really giving me a lot of Mass Effect vibes.
Yeah.
So optimistic. I will wait.
So glad to see more games implement bullet time too, and I'm sure that's a pain to develop. I am sure that bullet time is hard to integrate into the game.
So
Breath of the Wild has plenty of bugs because of it.
Cautiously optimistic.
That's all you really need to see. They follow this whole sequence all the way, basically.
I want to see how the engine actually performs because I'm a little worried about that. I don't know if it'll be an issue on like PS5, Xbox Series X, and the PCs that are high end. I'm sure it'll be an issue for like the PS4 maybe. It's like it seems like this can be very intensive to do because there is a lot going on. But yeah, this is very RPG like. You have your team. I mean, it almost reminds me of like a Star Ocean RPG where you kind of just freely battle and then it drops stuff. This is an RPG. This is straight up an action RPG. Looks great. I don't know if this is a day one purchase for me, but I do probably see myself getting it eventually.
It does seem very, very cool.
Because I like Star Ocean is Square. It's Square Enix. It's another Square Enix JRPG. So this is one I'd like to keep my eye on. But the downfall is this was basically Square's stuff.
Life is Strange is their other big
Life is Strange remastered collection. Cool, neat.
Well, True Colors.
They're milking Life is Strange so much.
Well, they're making a sequel. True Colors is a brand new game.
Yeah,
with
but
new characters.
Let's talk about.
And they showed gameplay of it too, and it looks kind of fun. It looks like a weird, almost like Life is Strange looks almost like a weird visual novel type thing where you interact with the world and make decisions. I've not played the original.
Let's talk about chaos real quick. Let's talk about chaos. What the fuck is this?
I don't know enough about Final Fantasy lore to know what I'm supposed to be doing.
What the fuck is this? I hate
I'm
this.
here to kill chaos. That's my mission.
It's not that I hate this aesthetic, it's just the fourth time we've done it.
Looks like chaos has been waiting for us.
You gonna make us
Is he supposed to be the warrior of light?
Guess we'll just show ourselves in.
I only know
one
thing.
I will grant, at least so far, from what we've seen of Final Fantasy 16, I don't remember seeing any modern elements.
All right, so it's been 40 seconds. He said chaos 3 times.
Oh, okay.
It's not a hope or a dream. It's like a hunger.
I do like the turning things into crystal and shattering them. That's cool.
He also switches weapons, which is neat. Something that Warrior of Light does.
He's also wearing different clothes in a lot of these shots.
Yeah,
So if we're gonna complain about character design, it's entirely possible he has lots of different outfits.
This is the Shrine of Chaos.
In which case, they're just showing his default or
A
whatever.
minute? 5 times.
We just have to hunt him down.
Feel the pain!
I don't know what that means, though. I don't know who Chaos is.
I'll explain in a second.
The darkness is so thick I can taste it. This is it. No
It's also really
doubt.
hard to see. What I don't see is what FF7 remake had, which was bullet time skills. This one doesn't have that, so it seems more Final Fantasy 15, because I don't think 15 had bullet time either.
His name was Garland. If you could, I would be grateful if you looked for him.
That was Jeremy.
Not the Warrior of Light?
Hold on. No. The voice actress.
Never returned. His name was Garland. If you could, I would be grateful if you looked for him.
Yeah, that's Jeremy Lay. Hell yeah. So that's Garland. He's one of the bad guys in Final Fantasy 1.
Garland? Wasn't Garland in World of Final Fantasy 2? What does that say? I think, isn't he the big dad?
We're here to kill Chaos.
The prophecy's very own Warriors of Light.
He always wore such splendid armor, with a helmet that was terrifying to behold.
It's Garland!
No. I become chaos.
That's Chris Sabat.
Is it?
That's Vegeta.
It's Garland!
It didn't sound like All Might.
I become chaos.
That's fucking Vegeta. There's no way. So, by the way, this has a very bad like to dislike ratio. People are not happy about this game.
Like I said.
Fun fact: you can replace the word chaos with darkness, and you have Kingdom Hearts.
I don't, like I said, as someone who doesn't know anything about Final Fantasy, I don't have strong feelings about this.
I have some strong feelings about this.
My feeling is that this is like the 4th or 5th time they've done this exact aesthetic.
Yep.
It's Final Fantasy 1, right? That's the whole thing.
Yes, it's like a retelling.
Right.
Because Garland is Final Fantasy 1, and Garland is an agent of Chaos.
I appreciate if they're going to revisit any Final Fantasy game other than 7, it probably should be the first one, right? Like, I know there were other ones that were arguably more successful, but like the first one should probably get attention. And this is
Chaos in Final Fantasy 1. If you look, this is like one of the PSP version, which is like a port that they've kind of like they retouched the visuals and such. This is what he looks like. This is Chaos. Yeah. This is the bad guy at the very end of the game. He's very tough. Yeah, and then Garland, of course, is in there. This game looks like ass. All right, let's just take it away for this. This game looks bad. I
don't think it does.
I
think it looks fine.
I think it looks bad. I think it looks really bad. They're really going for this like dark, edgy shit. And
they're going for the dark, edgy, and then fantasy combined with modern fashion. But like I said, I don't have a problem with that aesthetic. It's just literally they started it in Final Fantasy 13, and they've done it for every game since then.
Yeah, 15.
Even World of Final Fantasy was just a chibi version of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't. And there's nothing wrong with it, but yeah, it's like this studio seems to only be able to do that, whereas at least Final Fantasy 16 looked like it was just strictly fantasy from what I saw. I didn't see our hero wearing a Henley.
Every single one of these has a very bad like to dislike ratio. People do not want this game. Every single one is just like crazy. People don't want it. It does not look good. It does not, and it does not. I have a feeling it'll get scrapped.
Why do you think? I genuinely, I don't understand. I can understand being underwhelmed by it and not wanting Final Fantasy 1 and not wanting the aesthetic and not wanting the same kind of gameplay. But nothing about that seems bad to me.
Because right there, that's the Warrior of Light. Sure. That is the Warrior of Light. That is the Warrior Light that they've been shoving in our face, and that's fine. And now you're going to give me this edgy Chad motherfucker who says chaos so many fucking times in a single trailer. I have to kill chaos. I'm here for chaos. We got it, dude. We understand. Big sword cloud boy with generic scar. I understand what you're here for. We fucking get it. Why? Why do we need this game? What is this game doing? What is this game giving to us that enhances the story or tells it in a way that is better? Because the point of a remake would be to make it better, and this is not making it better. This is making it fucking worse.
Is it though? The original is is literally what, like 25, 30 years old?
Original Final Fantasy 1?
Yeah. Mid-90s, right?
87. It was in Japan.
87. Okay, yeah. So it's a 30-year-old game. So and I'm all for like appreciating retro games, but there's no way that a 30-year-old game holds up compared to modern standards.
And the thing
I'm not
is,
saying this was the way to do it, but
this thing has had several ports and like touch-ups. So there's been several different it's on the fucking Nintendo eShop. I mean, it's like there are a lot of Final Fantasy 1 has had several instances to get into people's hands where they could experience it.
Yeah, but I bet
and you want this fucker to be the fucking face of Final Fantasy Origins? No.
I agree. This character is bad design.
The game looks gross. It doesn't look good. It dark, grungy. It's like they're trying too hard to be Dark Souls, along with telling this story with new gameplay. Because Final Fantasy VII Remake was such a huge hit with the new gameplay, so they're like, "Let's do this." No, stop.
I will grant you, Final Fantasy, and broadly speaking, fantasy. There's a place for grim and dark fantasy, but Final Fantasy's vibe was never dark and edgy.
Not really.
They're all fantastic and weird and colorful.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
then 15 was a departure.
Let's look at Kefka.
Even 13 was pretty bright.
Because Kefka is definitely a fucking dark villain. He is creepy, but he's
literally a clown.
He's a clown. He's colorful.
And again, 15 was a departure.
Yes, it was.
From that, and that's fine. Like they were doing something different. But now they're sticking with it when I think they should have then leaned more back into
Final Fantasy 13 was even kind of darkish in a sense of like the story, because you have this underlying, you're cursed and you will like the sea, which are the parties.
Well, no, dark story does not mean dark, literally dark world.
That's what I'm saying. It has this like grungy theme, but like the game is so colorful.
Yeah,
like
and nothing that was like black and red and nothing else. Yeah,
and then you have Origin piece of shit. I downloaded the trailer. I want to play it just to see, because you can play the trailer. I have a feeling this game's going to get canceled because it's...
I don't think that's... No, there's no way.
It's not received well. It's just...
We'll see, but I haven't heard of a game being canceled in a AAA game being canceled in a hot minute.
Is this a AAA game? This is just a spinoff of a Final Fantasy game.
I'd say it's a mainline game by a major studio with high production value.
It's not a mainline. It's a spin-off of a mainline.
No, I mean it's a main franchise of a big deal studio with a high budget to work on games and like a high production value. That's what I'm saying. It's like a high production value, like budget visual game. So, maybe not AAA, but close to it. All right, move on. We got more content to do.
We have a lot more.
We want to be done by 9, I assume.
We have more content.
We can skip Life is Strange. It looks cool.
We're gonna skim through these real quick, and then we're gonna actually get into the good stuff. The direct that saved E3. Let's talk about Nintendo. Nintendo was this Tuesday, so 2 days ago. Literally the best thing to come out of E3.
Again, I personally think Xbox One, it's just a shame because I don't have an Xbox. So for me, Nintendo certainly had the most content that I will play and that I want to play. But I don't think it was the winner.
If you look online, I personally don't think anybody won. I feel like it was a fairly lackluster year because everything is 2022. Like most things are 2022.
Except Nintendo, who explicitly they were like most of this stuff is coming out this year.
Yeah, most of it's coming out this year. So one thing I want to make clear is like I really don't think anybody really won, but I definitely think Nintendo had more content that was coming out this year than any other person who said anything. The thing about my complaint with Nintendo's E3 is it seems like it's a lot of like things that are on other consoles or they're remasters of older games and being bludged into one. That's not a bad thing. We've said before, exposure to games that were older on newer consoles is not bad. But it did feel like that was a lot of what Switch was.
There were really only 3 major Nintendo... No, there were 4. 4 things which are new, not remakes. They're sequels, They're sequels mostly, but like...
Oops.
The biggest things were... well, we'll get into them. But
this is a big one. So if you're following along with the link that I sent, Worms Rumble, who cares? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 on Switch, really cool. If you haven't played them
for a while,
if you haven't played them on PlayStation or Xbox or something, I'm glad. If the only console you own is a Switch, this is awesome because Tony Hawk 1 and 2 are fantastic fucking games. Buy the game; it's great. It's only $40, super fun. And then we have this game that we didn't know was coming.
Nintendo had, I think, the most outright surprises.
This surprised the shit out of everybody. We haven't heard of any WarioWare game.
Strategy. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake is coming next week on Switch.
This is cool. This is really cool. I won't buy this because it is just mini games. But it's cool for the people who really wanted this. The people who really wanted this, and there are a lot of them, are very excited about WarioWare.
I could see myself buying this literally to have friends over once and play it, and spend the $60 or whatever when we play it one time as a big group, and then that being fine and being like, we had an entire evening for a bunch of people for $60. Cool, money well spent.
We had drinks, we had food, and we played, and it was fun.
Yeah, I could see myself buying it just for that, but I would probably only play it once or twice and never again.
So this is cool. It absolutely has an audience that have been asking for a new Wario game for a very, very long time.
It's just not Wario Land, which is the one mild bummer.
Yeah. Another, and then the next game we got was the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game, which is on PlayStation and Xbox a while ago. It's an action RPG to experience the Dragon Ball saga. If you like Dragon Ball or you haven't and you want to watch Dragon Ball, this is a great way to play it. Fun game, comes with DLC, enjoyable. I don't remember the next one. What was this one?
I on the article. I don't know what it is.
What the fuck is it? What is this?
I think it's just some random.
Oh, this is the RPG 2. This is the
yeah.
Thing. I tuned out.
If I recall,
for this.
It's been announced for like years or something.
I tuned out for this because it just showed her walking for the most part. There really wasn't much.
It's not. But
it does not look good.
If you're starved for JRPG content, you literally don't care how you get it.
Don't buy this. Cool. Buy Bravely Default 2.
Well, yeah, like if you've already played all the other ones.
Don't buy that. Buy Bravely Default. Then we got Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania.
Which have you played Super Monkey Ball games?
I've played arcade ones. Yeah,
they're fun as hell.
They are very fun.
Like this collection, I played the GameCube one because the kids I babysat had it. I will probably be buying this.
Oh, really?
The Super Monkey Ball thing. I don't know if I'll play all of the content in the collection, but I'll probably be getting it.
I'm gonna pause that because this will be what we end on. Apparently it's also coming to Xbox.
Yes.
Is it coming to PlayStation as well? I'm assuming then.
No idea. I kind of assume at this point.
I think I would. I think though I would get this on Switch for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One, handheld Super Monkey Ball sounds great, and 2, if it would probably be great on this as motion control, but I think the Switch would do really well as having like, in the arcade there's the big platform controller where you had to do the rocking of the thing. That's where that's where the Switch could really give you that like arcade type feel where you could do that with this game.
Yeah. None of these games are terribly long, and none of them, but they are like really hard, but the penalty is low, so you just kind of throw yourself at it.
So I think this is going to be like a $40 game, and it's a bunch of the different ones.
And a level-based game, there's always an advantage to strict like level-based games because it means that you have good stopping places all the time. Games have largely moved away from levels, and I think that games that have them,
they're fun.
It's a good thing.
There's just there's a nice nostalgia to them,
Yeah.
I'm gonna save 2 games for last. Almost 3 games. So we're gonna skip. We got Mario Party Superstars. What the fuck?
It seems fine. Like, I think this is a great idea, though I think it should have more content.
Yeah, it's only a couple maps from the N64.
Supposedly it's 5 maps from the N64, though they could always add more, but then they didn't.
If it's like a $20 game, sure. If it's a $60 game,
it'll be full priced.
No, skip.
Yeah, it's Mario Party.
Hard skip. Hard skip. Booty.
I think it's cool, and specifically the one thing I will say I noticed about it is that while it is the N64 maps, everything else brings in the full new content. Like Rosalina is available to play on these maps, so it gives you like all some new stuff.
Here's also another game. If you guys ever played Cruisin' USA, which is the arcade game, here's another arcade racer. Cruisin' Blast. This is only like a couple bucks. This is like 10.
I don't care about this one, so I'm gonna let you watch this trailer. I'm gonna go make myself another drink before it gets too much later.
This is like $10-15 type game. It's just a little arcade racer. They're fun. That's really kind of about it, really. That's all there is to that. Okay, there's a couple things. So there's Advanced Wars. People were very excited about this. 1 and 2. And this is what I was kind of talking about. I want Joe here for this one, where I feel like Nintendo's E3 was more of an announcement of a bunch of remakes, because we have like the Danganronpa game that is like a collection of those games plus an extra little bit of stuff. We had Advanced Wars, and then we had the fucking the Game & Watch Zelda, which I don't know how to feel about this. It's neat, I guess. So kind of cool. And then we also got Fatal Frame.
Okay, I'm back.
We got the Fatal Frame stuff, and we got the Danganronpa stuff. Again, the remaster, remake collection, like things following that. And so we're gonna get into what I feel like were the big showcases of Nintendo. The first one is a collector's thing. A lot of people aren't very excited about this and actually think that this is but it doesn't matter what they think, because collectors will fucking buy the shit out of this.
Yeah. I have to wonder how well these do, because this is like the 3rd or 4th one they've made.
I mean, Michael just said
selling well.
Michael just said he's gonna get them. He has the Mario one, hasn't even opened, so it's still mint in box, and he'll probably get this one too, because it's a collector's thing. This is a collector's item. That's what it is.
I'm glad you talked about Advance Wars. That is also a big deal.
We will talk about it.
Okay.
This is not a game for people to be excited about. This is a collector's item. This is not like, wow, Zelda game, whoa. No, this is a collector's piece. They don't give a fuck. This thing's gonna sell off the shelves in minutes.
And fine, I guess they're gonna make their money on it, and there is a collector market out there explicitly for Zelda in particular.
And I guarantee
they make Zelda collector stuff.
I guarantee this took no fucking time to develop. It really didn't.
Especially after they already made the Mario one. They literally are just like, okay, we put a little emulator on a little microchip. Now we just gotta emulate different games.
Sell it, baby. So,
Yeah.
okay, we'll talk about a couple games here. We'll start with Advanced Wars, and then I'm going to start with this here. It's going to give it away, but I want to talk about these. So I'm going to save.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to save 2 of these for last, and we'll kind of go in order here. So Advanced Wars. This is cool. It's not really for me, but I can absolutely acknowledge that this is cool. But I do want to talk about, they put way more money into the fucking trailer than they did the game, in my opinion. The trailer, the actual full trailer of this game was awesome.
Wait, are you thinking about the SNK one? That was the one that had the crazy trailer with a very similar aesthetic.
Oh, was it? I thought it was this one.
You're thinking of the SNK.
Oh, you're right. I am.
Which was hype as hell, but this is different.
You're right. I am. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. This is cool because people have been asking for a new Advanced Wars for a long time.
Yeah.
Just giving them a ported remaster is just as good.
Well, and those original ones were very successful. This will let them gauge on if it's worth making another one.
Yes,
it lets them also settle on an art design.
That's what exactly this does. You nailed it on the head, Joe. This gauges if there's enough to develop another one.
And it let them set up and put all their creative energy towards art design without having to rewrite story. Like they already have their story and their maps and their stats and all the game balance. And so they can focus on
what was that fucking game?
SNK Tactics. It's like, is it Metal Slug?
It was Metal Slug. That's what it was. It was Metal Slug Tactics. It was Metal Slug Tactics. It was another. Yeah. It was another reboot. And this
it's a tactics of an old franchise. Yeah,
is a reboot. If you don't remember Metal Slug, but this trailer was fucking incredible.
Yes.
And then the game the game looks like this.
Yeah, which like,
but this
I'm
trailer,
all for beautifully animated stuff. Like, do not get me wrong. There was literally a yogurt commercial I watched like 5 times because the animation was so incredible.
Like this trailer is so fucking good for a little tactics game.
I don't know if you saw that yogurt commercial, but it's insane.
Let's talk about one of the big drops, Metroid Dread.
Yes.
How do you feel about Metroid Dread? I know there are a lot of people who are very excited about this.
So apparently Dread was a canceled project that is like literally, it was even hinted at in Metroid Prime 3 or something. There was an Easter egg that said the Project Dread nears completion. So like this was something in the works a long time ago.
Yeah. I know people are excited
about this. And the whole Metroid
this.
5 thing threw a lot of people off because we were expecting Prime 4.
Right.
But this is Metroid 5. They're different series with different numberings. So this actually is Metroid 5. That wasn't like a joke.
Yeah, this is Metroid 5. It's not Metroid Prime, which is different because Metroid Prime, most people recognize from the GameCube when they played the first Metroid Prime.
Well, and also that's what the focus has been on for literally 20 years.
Right.
There has not been a 2D Metroid in 19 years.
Right.
And a lot of people are fans, and like there are people out there that like Prime.
There's people who
out there that like the character Samus.
People really like Metroidvania. You know, they like these style of games because they're very fun and they don't cost a bunch of money, and they're just good gameplay.
And the hype's there. People are making, you know, the Hollow Knights and the Oris of these like 2D platformer, as you said, Metroidvania. And also
there's a market for this. There's a very big one.
And the target, or the tech will allow them to do, and this will sound weird, but because it's literally been 20 years since Nintendo has made a 2D Metroid, the technology, even of just making a 2D platformer shooter, has changed dramatically. Like, controllers have 2 analog sticks now, whereas the last 20 years ago, D-pad, right?
So like, all you had was a D-pad.
Or I guess N64 had a single analog stick, but like, you get the idea, right? Like, the tech has actually dramatically increased, and Nintendo is really good at making. They have a good grasp on the 2.5D games, which I know that'll make you laugh, but you, Andrew, specifically about 2.5D. But like this idea of the 3D, like that aesthetic has been really nailed down, and people know how to do it well now. I think this is great, and also, much like Paper Mario, this was announced with like a 3 or 4 months, and then it's out.
Yep, this is coming out in October.
if you're a diehard Metroid fan,
this is great.
Who's been waiting for something, and especially has been so starved because of the Metroid 4 problem.
Yeah,
this is a huge deal.
This gives you something to chew on for a little while, and I think
it'll
it's
also
great.
hopefully revitalize the franchise for when Prime 4 does come out.
Yeah, I think this is something to chew on for people who want to be excited about 4, who are disappointed that 4 has had literally no information, really just kind of in the dark. And then they're like, oh my god, we got like an actual Nintendo Metroid game for the first time in 20 years for this. Like, this is a big deal. I'm happy for that.
If you're a Metroid fan, you literally know what Dread is. Like, you've heard about Dread.
I'm happy for them. That's great. I won't play it, but it's cool. So let's go ahead.
I've never played a Metroidvania, but that one
I played the first one.
Good enough that I might give it a shot. I don't know.
Let's jump ahead to a game I'm a little concerned about because of the system it's on, but I want to play anyway. And that's Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Oh, you pulled up Mario. We don't need to watch Mario Golf.
Oh,
it comes out in a week.
I have a joke for this.
Okay.
It'll be
All
fine.
right, fine.
It'll be fine. So for those who have for those of you like me who got on the hype train with Persona 5 and played Persona 4 Golden, this game looks great because it's those like monsters and that kind of world, that dark theme with these cool undertones and such. And this game looks fantastic. This game looks super fun.
It's like again, it's like there's literally a Pokemon element to this, and those faces are all familiar.
Yeah, exactly. We've known about this game for a little while. The thing that concerns me is it's Switch only. It's Switch exclusive.
SMT has always been, I believe, Nintendo, but I could be wrong about that.
No.
Really?
PlayStation.
Okay. I
thought
it was
Shin Megami Tensei has been on PlayStation.
Okay, fair.
I believe. Shit.
He fuses with another dude, and there's going to be gay undertones at all.
Shin Megami Tensei 3, the remaster, is coming out on PlayStation.
Okay, fair enough. I like that it appears to be open world, or at least pseudo open world.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and I like this. Like, this UI is fucking clean. Like,
I agree.
This is clean.
For as much as there is going on.
This is
and there's a lot.
It's a clean UI, and you have your team here on the side, and then you have like the skill chain. Like, this is gonna be a fun fucking game.
I love that they named their protag.
Me too. I'm excited about this.
Props to them for making.
Oh yeah, and having this
an MC who is like
kind of androgynous in this, right?
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like
it's a little androgynous.
MC, the guy he fuses with or whatever, is very much like a hunk dude. And the kid is just kind of like a skinny kid, but then they wind up fusing into weird androgynous,
very androgynous,
like, badass, which is it's an interesting choice, and props to it because it's.
So
it's a video game. Get weird, right? Like, that's my stance.
Super excited to play this. I think it'll be very fun because it's that Pokemon, and it looks pretty good. It's a little different than Persona, but still has that Persona feel to it. So I'm excited for this. I'm a little worried that it's just on Switch. I would like it to come to PlayStation, but
I do worry. The menu does seem really clean, but I see a lot of options. I do worry there's maybe a little too much going on, and none of it will be deep enough to matter.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Yes, I agree.
There was like attack, run, items, talk, special,
skill.
Right? There were like 7 things in that list of stuff to do, and I'm like,
and then but this is super clean. Like, this menu looks.
That screen also terrifies me.
Really,
that screen terrifies the shit out of me.
This is clean as shit. What are you talking about?
Look at how many numbers and symbols there are. That's gonna scare away a lot of people.
What are you talking about?
You are a JRPG fan. Look how many. There's rows, and there's a complicated, like.
What? It's super self-explanatory. Skills. It knows Aggie +2. The next skill it's going to learn is that one right there. But the only thing I don't understand is up here with the skill potential, but it tells you what it's weak to, but it's not weak to. It tells you all of its abilities in a bar form rather than a stat number. This is just the same as Pokemon.
I know, but Pokemon puts it on multiple screens, and there's a lot less.
That's not an excuse.
There's a lot of text on this screen. There's a lot of abbreviations and weird words, like Pulinpa? I can't
That's a
read
skill. That's the skill.
No, I know,
name.
but like, yeah, but like that word means nothing to me. What's Mudo +1? If you're a fan of the game, you know exactly what that means.
But
if you don't know about the game, and also all those gauges next to everything, the green and black gauges next to EXP, HP, MP, and then Strength, Vitality. Like, what are those gauges? I don't get what those are.
What are you talking about? This here?
Is it leveling up?
Yeah, it's leveling up, and so it's showing you the numbers in a form of a bar rather than just a number. It's showing you the stat in form of a bar. I think this is like the most clear one of the most clearest screens I've ever seen for a JRPG.
I agree. It's mostly easy to parse, other than skill potential, which I don't. I don't understand.
This I don't understand.
Yeah, but like this to me feels like. It reminds me of some of the UIs in like Monster Hunter, which even in World, those scare some people off. That's all I'm saying, is that there's enough here that if you're not a JRPG fan, you're scared of this screen and you're like, whoa, this is so tables in my video game? I don't want tables.
Chat, what's your vote? Chat, do you think that this is this hard to read, or do you think this is fairly clear? I want to know what chat's opinion is.
And I come from both sides of this. I love Xenoblade, which is deep as shit and has tons of menus. But I also played Tales of Zestiria, and literally 3 of the in-game systems I didn't care.
Yeah, you have the Demon fusion system, which is very reminiscent of Persona 5.
Right, which I also vaguely recall there being something weird about the fusion. They showed something weird, but maybe I'm wrong.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, no, I see Jack Frost.
God, I love Jack Frost. He's so good. But yeah, this game looks super cool. Very excited to play this.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think that there's a lot to love in this trailer. There's a lot to love, genuinely. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, it looks good. So, all right, we have a couple. We don't want to spend too long on this because we do want to at least do the boss battle tonight. But
yeah. Move on.
Let's talk about the biggest announcement that they had, and.
We're going to break this down God damn it.
It's Mario Golf. I am so fucking excited for this that I have really debated on just making sure I get this day one. This looks so much fun. I'm fucking kidding you. It's Breath of the Wild.
But for real though, you can play King Bob-omb, which is crazy.
Low key, I really want to get Mario Golf next week. I think it'd be super fun. I think using the Joy-Con and using it to either play battle golf or speed golf with my kid is gonna be super fun. I think all 3 of us, me, the wife, and the kiddo. So you have like family game time, and you have the fucking Joy-Con controller, and you're playing golf, and like that's fun.
I do really
it's just
agree.
Goofy fun.
I'm very curious at how it will work, because the split screen might make it a little tough. But
I actually love golf.
TV, it's not a big deal.
Hot take. I love playing golf. I'm bad at it, but I don't like to watch golf because it's fucking boring. But I love. Go ahead. Hot take.
Go ahead. Hotter take. I hate playing golf. I love mini golf.
Mini golf's great.
IRL.
I love mini golf.
I think mini golf. I still want to see them do a charity event where they have a crazy ass mini golf custom made for like the pros, and they play for charity. Like, do it.
I like to play golf.
But then they did that TV show.
I had a personal. We went to Top Golf on last Friday for our buddy's birthday.
Okay. I did enjoy Top Golf. I was terrible at it.
Chris's wife had her birthday. They invited us to go out to Top Golf, so we went to Top Golf. I hit my record. I hit a 210-yard drive. That's
very good.
I nailed that ball. It felt so. That sound was just. Oh, I loved it. So I really like. I used to go to the driving range a lot and just hit golf balls, but I don't anymore because I'm lazy.
Okay.
So
we're gonna break this down. I'm gonna stick to only the meaty bits, but I'm gonna get into some Zelda theory.
This was the end.
This was my tax.
We pretty much knew this was coming.
Yes.
There was no way that this wasn't going to get dropped. Like this trailer, there's a lot in the trailer in a very short amount of time. I do gotta say, I went back and rewatched it. There's a lot of flashing of shit that's happening, and you kind of have to watch it a couple times. So let's go ahead. We'll watch it, and then we'll break it down. It's only 1:30.
Yeah,
so.
we can watch We can watch it once all the way through. and I'll chime in. I'll try to be timely, but I have to. You'll have to account for stream delay.
We're good. We got time.
This whole beginning, I've seen a lot of people talking. They'll do these analyses videos, and they spend a bunch of time talking about the initial shot. I'm like, it's all fluff. Other than Zelda falling, everything about that beginning is fluff. You don't need to tell me.
This is where it really started to get interesting.
Also, music, hella good, gotta say it. That intro,
music is good.
Shot,
Music's good.
That shot was such incredible, like, trailer direction. Oh my god.
I agree with you. Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this, and I see so many people that the metal ball backwards in time shot. I see so many people. They spend so much time on that. I'm like, guys, it's a new ability. You don't need to think too hard about that one.
Also, the music is going backwards right there.
They solved it. They figured it out.
What is it saying?
It's not saying anything. It is. This is actually real fast. Listen though. Okay, so that string bit at the end. We'll do that analysis bit first. Did you figure out what that string bit was?
Is that Zelda's Lullaby?
It is. It's a very slow Zelda's Lullaby.
Very slow. I heard
but listen to it again.
And I was like, is that really what it is? Okay, hold on. Where does it start? It starts way back here. Yep, there it is. Dun, dun, dun.
Which I straight up did not catch the first time. I did not realize that's what that was.
I did not catch it the first time either.
Also, I believe that instrument is called an erhu. It was one of the central instruments in the Kung Fu Panda trilogy of movies, and it's a badass instrument. If you've never Google erhu, it's ERHU.
All right, so let's take a look at this. So that right there, that's pretty fluffy. Like, we don't care about this.
Yeah, the one thing that is interesting there is it does outright show the thing taking over Link's arm, which I almost missed that flash.
How do I go frame by frame in YouTube?
Let me Google it for you.
What button is it?
I think it's arrow keys, but I don't know.
No, arrow keys is 5 frames.
K.
Huh?
K. The letter K.
And to go backwards is
period?
No, K is this. Like, K is start and stop. Here, anyway.
Comma and the full stop. Comma is 1.
Okay.
It's comma and period.
Comma and period. All right. So yeah, this is it infecting his arm. This is the Calamity. Calamity is infecting his arm.
Yeah.
Neat.
You will hear that referred to as malice.
Doesn't really do anything for us.
Sure, yeah, it's whatever. There's the brief shot of Ganondorf, which, like, cool. It's definitely Ganondorf, guys. Like, you don't need to think about that one too hard.
It's a cool shot. It looks creepy as fuck.
They did actually. I do want to point out something that I never saw. Go back.
It's chaos.
Go back like 1 or 2 frames. He has holes in his hands.
Oh, I see him. Yeah, I see him there.
Which is weird.
Yeah, that's kind of
and
weird.
there is speculation that this is the Twilight Princess Ganon because you haven't played Twilight Princess, but there's a shot in that game. I won't get into it too much of Ganondorf basically nailed to a thing.
And crucified, huh? Cool.
Basically, so there is actually speculation that this straight up, which if you are not aware, Twilight Princess Ganondorf is Ocarina of Time Ganondorf. Same literal man, same person.
So then we have Zelda falling.
Which their first reveal trailer showed rocks breaking under Zelda's feet, and she goes, and so this is kind of confirmation that yes, she doesn't. Sure.
Okay. So, see you, buddy. We are about to be done anyway. So this is the first big shot you see, and from someone who really didn't care for the first game.
Oh, this shot.
This is a really good shot. I really want to. I gotta give it to him. This is a great shot.
Also, keep in mind, the first trailer made us think that the entire game, the new
like
environment, was going to be caves underneath Hyrule, and then they hit us with this. There's no way that wasn't an intentional
Breath of the Skyward Sword, I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's in this different... You can still tell it's the same Link because his arm is all fucked up. People were trying to, like... people are speculating that like you'll get to play as like different characters and stuff, and I'm like, no, it's all gonna be Link. Calm down.
Well, there is some speculation that in the original Breath of the Wild, you hear about both the events of 100 years ago, which Link was a part of, but then you also hear about the events of 10,000 years ago. And there are some thoughts that maybe modern Link is actually 10,000 year ago Link. And he's actually both of the people, and that you're going to go back in time, and that's why Hyrule looks so different. This is not the present state of something that happens to Hyrule, but rather the way Hyrule used to be 10,000 years ago.
Very interesting.
Which I actually think is an interesting idea, and completely plausible.
So we see him
go back briefly to the first skydiving shot, if you would be so kind.
Like the intro.
Yeah, you can do the one where Link's kind of up close.
This here.
Not when he's super far away from the camera still.
So the zoom in. Right here.
So the interesting thing about this shot is the terrain is definitely not any of the regions we know. This is not an area of Hyrule that has broken from the ground and come up. This is new terrain, which is why I think there's a decent case. Well, right, but like you see at the end of the trailer, up into the air.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were speculating that that's what this terrain is. And I don't think that's the case. This is different land. This is a different place. And so that's why I think that time travel shenanigans are also entirely possible. And time travel is core to the Zelda series. Like, say what you want. Time travel is
I mean, Ocarina of Time, you travel in time 7 years in the future.
And the brief shot of him gliding is mildly important because it shows the glider, which is different from Breath of the Wild. The glider is different. It has streamers and it's purple. However, it is the same glider that we see later. We will see Link in the blue champion's tunic and with his hair in the ponytail still, but he's using the same glider. So I think it's reason enough to believe that champion Link, we are in fact looking at the same person.
This doesn't mean anything to me though. Meh, whatever.
Well, no, it's just the point is just connecting that there was at least one theory I saw that they were two different people, and I don't think that's the case.
No, they're not. We'll get new enemies. That's to be said.
That one is interesting very briefly because he has a little symbol in the center of him.
Yep, right here.
And it is definitely a symbol, right? It's definitely not just a smudge. It's like an actual thing, but it doesn't really resemble anything that we know, and people are curious about that.
I also think
some people think that that's a Beamos, actually.
Oh, that'd be cool, actually. That'd be actually really cool.
But it also could be something entirely different.
This is cool. You have them riding on that guy.
Alice.
That's a cool take. It's not a stretch, but I think this is
something I did not notice at all the first time I watched that. Stay on the Talus shot at the beginning of it. I did not notice this at all. The Bokoblins have entirely different horns.
Yeah, this guy has a single horn type. Like
they have what we're talking about? Very large, because the normal ones have little tiny horns.
Yeah, these are single large horns.
Right.
I saw this too, but I didn't really think anything about it.
It's just that it's different, and like, okay, does that mean we're in a
different
why are they
different
right?
area?
That said, that you can identify exactly where that is in main Hyrule. That is, you can go there in main Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
That's not a new location.
Okay. So yeah, we have him like fused with the Sheikah Slate, and then this like backwards in time thing. That's neat.
Yeah, which
we have
obviously a neat idea. His hands are going to drive his powers.
We have a new weapon.
Right, that is actually a shield.
Yeah,
if you look closely,
it's a shield
on his left hand.
It's a shield with an ability, which is all right. This is where I'm starting to get a lot more interested because now we have more weapon variants and things like that. Where this is like
Breath
really
of the
cool.
Wild doesn't feature any.
Like, this is cool.
It doesn't feature things like hook shots and ball and chain and that kind of stuff.
Exactly, and so now we're getting this like these kind of enemies where this is very reminiscent of old Zelda games where you have like this like fucking like swingy thing.
People also think that enemy is actually a version of the little guy that come up out of the sand in Ocarina of Time.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
The little ones that chase us?
People think that that's going to be... They're called like levers or something. And people
Okay.
think that guy is effectively Breath of the Wild's iteration of that.
This is neat. This shows me that we might have like actual like puzzle temples with this like little problem solve where you have the he goes up here and he does this.
You want to see the evidence for temples? Go back to the gliding shot, the nighttime gliding shot at the beginning.
Oh yeah. I mean, even here though, this is like where where Ganon's probably going to be at. Like you can kind of tell this is really going to be temple like. So
yeah, go back to the nighttime gliding shot.
I will. We'll get through the rest of the trailer first. Okay. You have like the Malice or the Calamity raising this castle up, and then
I didn't say what this music was. The backwards music here.
Oh, of the where it's backwards. So
yes, that is.
We can listen from here. Hold on, let's listen real quick, and then we'll you can hear that that stuff. So what is it?
I'll even it'll be so much easier to show you than describe.
Send me a Discord link.
Let me find. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it directly to you on Discord.
Yep, that's fine.
And then you can just play it because it's just music. You don't have to worry about it being anything copyrighted or anything along those lines.
Stories of Ganon were passed from generation to generation.
Oh, it's the Age of Calamity music?
Legends and fairy tales. But there was also
not Age of Calamity. This is the cutscene from the main game.
Ah, okay, cool. That's neat. I like it.
It's when the King Rome Bosphoramus Hyrule explains to you the history that Link has forgotten.
Okay. So yeah, this here does look very temple-like in a sense. You have like this thing over here in the background.
The big building on the right.
So I gotta say, I'm optimistic because it does look like we're kind of getting into this temple. We're combining temples and Breath of the Wild, and we're putting them into one game. And I want to be.
It's hard. It's hard.
I want to be a little. I am more pessimistic than optimistic, but if they can do this, if they can combine temple stuff with new mechanics and make it feel like they're really telling the story of Zelda game, because as I've said before, Age of Calamity, voice actors and stuff have really hit their stride. They're really good at starting to tell the story in a new way. If they can do this, this could be a perfect game.
I do need to now give you some actual lore from Breath of the Wild, which is actually largely absent from the game. So, go to the flamethrower shot, and while you're doing that, in the game, there are, in the Faron Woods, a bunch of ruins. And there are these weird, like, serpents and dragons and stuff, which is a pretty obvious reference to Farosh, Dinral, and Nehru, the three dragons that you find in the
three
game,
spirits.
Which I assume you found all three of them when you played it.
Yeah, I didn't understand how to fucking do them for a while. I had to look it up. The Thunder one in the mountains in like the north.
Yeah, Farosh is in the most places, but he's kind of the hardest to find. Lanayru, if you explore, you are gonna stumble on him.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was like, "It's a big dragon. What the fuck do I do?" So I had to look it up. But yes.
So in Faron Woods, the jungle-y region in the south, you will encounter a more elaborate ruin, and when you get there, this is where one of the spirit fountains are. And you will stumble on a few different landmarks and location names, but you will see a few times the ruins will be called Zonai ruins, Zonai.
I'm trying to also remember back. Isn't there a thing where they like explain? Is there like a fountain thing where they kind of explain everything to you about the dragons or mention them? I can't remember.
Nope, not Nehru tells you a little bit. Yeah,
it, like
when you
looks
find the
in
first
the stars and shit.
Yes. But you will see these things called the Zonai ruins, and you probably see that and you're like, whatever that means, whatever.
Whatever the fuck that means.
This is not explained in the game at all, but in some of the art books and the like making of type content that they released, there's a few like development videos and development articles and stuff in the Making a Hero book, they explain more detailed that the Zonai are a race of people who existed a long time ago and disappeared suddenly. And all the Zonai ruins feature, they clearly worshipped the dragons, and that's why all the stone serpent dragon ruins, those are the Zonai ruins. And you see this a few times. You see that the Thundera Plateau, which you probably found in the game, that's the one where there's this giant, like, circular plateau with thunderstorms all the time. And there's a shrine there that involves putting a bunch of these glowing spheres in their place by getting them up onto the plateau. But basically, the Zonai are this, whether it's a race or whether it's a group or a civilization, there's some group of people that existed a long time ago and don't exist anymore. And the presence of the dragon motif in the flamethrower, the Beamos guy that we saw earlier, who's maybe not a Beamos.
Well, maybe he is. Who knows?
He has these little, like, egg scaly looking things on him, which you will also see as, like, light adornments on the ruins. And so that's sort of the thought of the time travel stuff, is that we're finally going to learn about the Zonai, because they did say that Breath of the Wild 2 started out as a DLC, and they decided that they wanted to make it a whole game. The idea of explaining who the Zonai
so then,
were,
we'll probably see. Yeah, okay, then that makes sense. Yes.
And this could very possibly explain the development of all the technology we see. It could very well explain the history of Hyrule and what happened 10,000 years ago, because we have a pretty good idea of what happened 100 years ago, but 10,000 years ago we don't know. And so this is probably going to be a deep dive into the Zonai and who they are and what they do. And if you Google the word, if you YouTube the word Zonai, there's a lot of content about this, because there's, honestly, they explained a lot of stuff in the books. They shared a lot of things.
It's very cool. I think that it was a big... It
was the major plot hole in Breath of the Wild is they clearly had this thread that they wanted to explore, and they decided to hold off basically until this game. They decided to go ahead and make it its own thing.
The main thing we got is 2022, baby. Still 2022
Fingers crossed. They don't delay it again.
I don't know. But see, that's the thing. They haven't
delayed it yet.
They said 2022. That could mean holiday 2022.
Which, honestly, I'm fine with that. I wanted it to be this year, but now having seen what they're doing and how they're going to, presumably, they will have the entire original Hyrule, and then they will also have an entire alternate Hyrule.
Yeah.
I do want to point out there's one other shot near the end of the trailer where Link, it's right after he comes up through the ground in the floating island, which itself, super cool. Love that ability.
This is cool.
So one thing I do want to point out here that's very interesting is this is the only shot we see where we not only see the floating islands, but we see regular Hyrule below it. And that's actually, again, that's a specific, easy to locate place within Hyrule.
Yeah.
Which, again, sort of drives home the point that this is not land that came from, it didn't just raise up out of the ground. This is, like, different.
Yeah. I think it's, like I said before, optimistically, if they can do the temple storytelling that we're used to and do some really good stuff in between, and have the Breath of the Wild stuff fix some of the bugs that happen. I know some people didn't run into them, but I ran into several, like, horse riding bugs and things like that.
I feel like horse riding is not going to be super relevant in this game by the nature of floating.
I agree with you. It seems like they might just add, like, more gliding stuff or what have, like, make it easier to glide or whatever. But if they also, like, make it so that just traversing is a little quicker, especially for a vast world that we're gonna have, and just give the weapons a little, not a lot more durability, but just give them a little bit of love, give them a little kiss.
Two things. Number one, in this shot, you can see a bunch of arches on the island on the left. These are clearly stylized after that, like, classic Japanese arch idea. And then also, fun fact about weapon durability, things like flurry rushes, the damage you deal while mounting a Lionel, and a few other specific situations actually don't take durability. So fun fact there.
Yeah.
Flurry rushes extend your durability.
I am optimistic, even though I was very pessimistic about Breath of the Wild.
Maybe our next game should actually be Breath of the Wild to see if maybe it hits a little different this time.
Maybe it might.
Interesting idea, that's all.
Yeah, as I've said multiple times and just talking on stream, is I understand that, and I think that Breath of the Wild is a good game, but to me it wasn't a good Zelda game. Joe disagrees, but I think it didn't tell the story that I wanted it to. I had to you have to really kind of dig for it, and
it's a lot of smaller stories. The overarching story, kind of like a Fallout or a Skyrim, it's actually very short. But the little stories,
but I like
are where the meat is.
Ocarina, Majora's Mask, everything ties together, and there's just more there's way more to it. Where Breath of the Wild was these little chunks, and that's not bad. It just wasn't my preferred style of telling the story of a Zelda game, and so like I said, I didn't like it as a Zelda game. A lot of people did. But I mean, I can absolutely represent that it's not a bad game. It's not. You cannot call Breath of the Wild a bad game. You just cannot. You cannot. You can say it's not for you based on X, Y, and Z. Like, I didn't like the traversing because I had a lot of bugs when I did a horse, and I didn't like as I mentioned, I didn't like the weapon durability. I thought the weapon durability was a little scarce. And running took way more stamina than climbing. And so traversing this giant world was just really slow.
The fastest way to travel by stamina is definitely gliding. And so there is a very hard advantage of climb high thing, glide as far as you can.
Right. Which I thought was...
But that's not obvious.
I think that is goofy to me. It's like, wow, he can do a free hang... minutes and minutes of free hang, but he can run for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's stupid to me. So if they can fix some of that, and I mean, it doesn't even have to be 100% fixed, but just make it a little, just give me a little something. Cautiously optimistic, a legitimately perfect game. Legitimately could be one of the best games we could ever see in the next 10 years.
Right.
It's
Many
crazy.
people think Breath of the Wild 1 was already effectively perfect, and most of the people it didn't land with are like, it's still really good. I just had complaints about this and this and this.
Yeah.
But
so
it doesn't
reach it doesn't reach like an overall perfect score. There was a lot of things who you talk to, there's a bit, but no one said it was like, oh, it's a 5 out of 10.
I'll be very curious if they figure out how to patch wind bombs out. Do you know about wind bombing?
No, but we don't have to get into it right now.
It's a glitch, and the long and short of it is because you have 2 bombs you can place.
Right.
If you're clever about it, you have 2 bombs that you can place and detonate, and if you're in the air in bullet time, you can place a bomb and then place a different bomb, and then you blow up the first bomb, which knocks the second bomb into you, imparting you with a ton of momentum. Way more than it should.
That sounds
And then
awesome.
you could glide for stupid distances because you have this crazy momentum.
I gotta learn how to do that so I could fucking travel across Hyrule.
There are glitches that basically, going in and out of bullet time, there are some glitches where momentum accidentally gets multiplied because they slow down things when you go into bullet time. And there are some specific glitches that if you exit bullet time while momentum is being applied to you, you can get way more than you should. And the speedruns all heavily utilize this to travel insanely fast. You travel fast enough that the game has to pause everything to load in assets. You'll be gliding and you'll freeze in midair.
And the switch is like, hold on. Yeah. Hold on. All right, we're go.
I'll show you some later, but yeah, that's yeah.
And then, as I said, we're gonna talk about the best fucking game of E3, and it's Mario Golf. I'm actually unironically very excited about this game. Just because it's...
Maybe for the release date, either I come to you or you come to me and we play Mario Golf together.
That'd be kind of fun, actually. Because this looks cool. I actually have
a big-ass living room.
It interesting enough, I have Mario Golf on 3DS, and I like it. It's fun.
I played a GameCube one that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, these are really fun games. And like I like the like terrain, and like later on you'll see like there's a sandcastle level.
I love that they have the normal stuff, but I love that they're like, oh, it's Mario. There's goofy shit too, which is I think so important. If you're gonna do Mario, you need to have the stuff.
I mean, let's be real. This is why we want to play it right here. Motion controls, baby. We play golf in this bitch.
Yeah. So when I played Skyward Sword, I recently replayed the game, which is a bummer because then they announced HD, and I'm like, I just played this game 6 months ago. Skyward Sword, I played it on the Wii again. I definitely hit one of my dogs in the face like twice while using the motion controls.
Yeah, I gotta take my. I have to like square my dogs off if I'm using it.
I straight up smacked. I straight up smacked my dog, and I did it twice in like a 10-minute span.
That's so
because
fun.
she kept just coming up trying to hang out with me. Yeah. Oh, I've played VR, but when we're playing VR, the dogs are definitely nowhere near us. I don't have VR, but I have friends that do. Yeah. Anyways, we should probably wrap up so we can maybe beat this dang boss fight.
Yeah, we're gonna be done with the podcast for the night. We're gonna actually probably only have time to do the boss fight, and that's about it.
Probably. Unfortunately.
Because I actually had a lot of fun. This was a good conversation. It went really fast, but we've been talking for 2.5 hours, but it just went like we were next point. So thanks everybody for listening to E3 discussion. I appreciate it. If you like what you saw and you're new here, like, subscribe, follow, do whatever. Buy our Patreon to get our OnlyFans to see pictures of weenuses and toes. Make sure you like the smash button and have a wonderful day. See you later.
Bye.
Was that weird? I feel like that was weird. That was weird.
I don't know if it was weird.
Bye.